Boston.
Patriots!
From the opening kickoff to the final play.
Touchdown!
Your home of the past.
Yes.
98.5 The Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
A win for the Bruins last night in overtime in Calgary. 4-3 the final. David Pastrnak with the game winner. Elias Lindholm, Morgan Geekie, and Mark McLaughlin also scored for Boston, who will continue their Western Canada swing tomorrow night in Edmonton. Bucks won the NBA Cup last night. They beat Oklahoma City 97-81. Celtics off until tomorrow when they play Chicago. Patriots back on the practice field today as they get ready for the Bills on Sunday. NFL announcing yesterday that the game against the Los Angeles Chargers is now scheduled for Saturday the 28th at 1 p.m. Michael Penix Jr., the new quarterback in Atlanta, he replaces Kirk Cousins. Cardinals yesterday extending safety Budda Baker 3 years, $30 million guaranteed. And in baseball news this morning, the Yankees have traded for Cody Bellinger from the Chicago Cubs. Headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Charlie McAvoy, and Tuukka Rask. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Boston, the greatest sports town in America.
We have a farm. I have about 200 pigs here.
We get to spill beers on each other without worrying about spilling beers on people.
Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. Hello. Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Opening him up with a football.
98.5 The Hub!
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na 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 na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Back on the air. Let's go. He's going to make us laugh.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. We are in the Town Fair Tires Studios, 617-779-0985. We're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Simply go to YouTube and search 98.5 The Sports Hub, and then smash subscribe, and then the algorithm kicks in and money flows in freely. And then the stock price goes bananas and everything happens. For the first time that I've been on the show, Tim McCone is with us today. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. And Tim is wearing something that I own. Matt McCarthy. Tim McCone. Matt McCarthy. My bad. Matt McCarthy. Matt McCarthy.
Good morning, Fred.
Thank you. Matt McCarthy. Tim McCone. Matt McCarthy.
You know what I don't like? The Red Sox.
The Red Sox.
The Red Sox.
We're doing that with you. But Matt McCarthy is here today. And Matt McCarthy is wearing something that I own and that Hardy owns and that every white person in all of Massachusetts owns. Everyone owns memorabilia from the U.S. Open.
Yes.
I cannot recall an event. I don't think there is an event. Matt McCarthy, that there. Were you at the U.S. Open?
I was, yes.
Okay, so was I. We broadcasted from there. So I don't think that there was an event where more merchandise was sold that I've ever been in my entire life. If you've never been to the U.S. Open, they have two, right, Hardy? Two of the stores for memorabilia.
At least, but there is in events that I've been to a couple of majors. There's generally like one huge. This is the place where you go and buy your stuff. And every golf tournament has one, but the one at the U.S. Open in Brookline, I think it was down off like the first or second hole. It was kind of like in the middle of the golf course there.
It's off
And
of 1 and 2.
they erected, this large
It was
temporary building.
Large. It was the size of an anchor store in a mall.
Yes.
Like it was it was the size of, Bloomingdale's.
I would say, well, it wasn't. Did it have multiple floors?
Well, okay. Say Bloomingdale's is two floors.
Let's say a TJ Maxx.
It was larger than a TJ Maxx. That thing was huge.
It maybe a Target, maybe a Walmart. It was the size. Have you guys been to a Walmart?
It wasn't as big as a Walmart.
The one I was in was. I mean, it had to have been 10,000 square feet at least. No more, 15,000 square feet. There were two of them. There was one in the front and one in the back that I saw, and the one in the back.
These just so you know, this is one of these odd hills that I will die on. So
odd ones.
Yeah.
Odd ones like where the question marks goes after the conversation you had.
So if you want to have the conversation about the merchandise, we can. But if you want to go down the road as the size of the store, I will grant you it was very large. It wasn't the size of a freaking Walmart. So stop with that.
But it was slightly smaller than a Walmart, but it was bigger than a TJ Maxx, as you have suggested, Hardy.
Well,
I will start Googling square footage of TJ Maxx, and I will find out the square footage of the U.S. Open merchandise store if you want me to, or we can have a different conversation.
Are TJ Maxx's all uniform size?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
according to the prophecy, and that is how they have built their stores.
Okay. TJ Maxx stores average approximately 30,000 square feet.
Well done.
Okay.
Matt McCarthy.
How big was the merchandise store at Country Club U.S. Open? 35,000 square feet.
Larger than a TJ Maxx, as I told you, Hardy. Would you like to apologize for doubting me?
Would you like to find out the square footage of a Walmart?
I said it was smaller than a Walmart.
Now he's gaslighting.
Yeah.
No, where did I really push back? I said it wasn't the size of a freaking Walmart.
I don't know. I was doing it for effect, but I know Walmarts aren't
178,000 square feet.
It's a lot of square feet.
Yes, I was doing that more for effect. But yes. But when I said Bloomingdale's, you said it wasn't too.
And I was the one who said TJ Maxx to get this whole thing going. That was my comp.
Right. You were closer, but you weren't accurate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's true.
I miss Wallach. I can't believe I would ever say that. 7 minutes in.
Matt is actually filling in beautifully right now. And you don't miss Wallach. That's a total lie. And if you missed the end of yesterday's show, we played a fun game with Wallach where if he got questions right, he could leave early, and he left early.
Yeah. And he was out of here. There wasn't any oh, that was really funny, kind of hang around. No, I'll stay. No, he packed up his crap and he left.
And he's no, I don't blame him. It was just seemed like more of an issue just to leave 2 minutes early than it would have been just to stay, because he tapes his stupid headlines. Everyone was so dumb during COVID that what they did is they said headline people have to tape their last headlines, because the two people brushing into the two people leaving the studio brushing into the two people in the other studio coming into the studio would create really the talk about the end of times, that those things would happen. So the headline would be recorded before the end of the hour and then played off of tape. Now that didn't solve the problem for the producer of the show that had to play the headline from the back studio while the other producer entered the studio.
Standing 4 feet away from them.
4 feet away. I mean, you would think that they were taking over a board. There would be a time where they were right next to each other. Oh. I mean, everything was so well thought through, especially with the plexiglass that was between us, which is well known to stop any disease. And so, but Wallach insists on still doing that. He still tapes them. So he would have gotten out of here anyway. It was just, and he's working on Monday. He's doing the Celtics game.
I think he was just trying to sell the bit.
Yeah. Look, do I seem like I'm offended by him leaving?
Maybe a little.
I do.
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's
smidge.
that's not what I want to be putting out there. I'm not offended at all by him leaving. I was surprised he left. So if he was selling the bit, good for him.
I wasn't surprised he nailed all those questions, though. I mean, the man knows his birds.
I had to help him. You notice I had to help him?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Are you an avian expert, Fred?
No, but what does John lack the ability to do, Hardy?
He lacks the ability to deduce.
Yeah, so Hardy really hurt his feelings. This is true. Hardy, I've known John a long time, and at first everything hurt his feelings, but now not much hurts his feelings. And I kind of know like what you can say without really hurting his feelings, because that's not the intention. And Hardy made fun of him about not being able to deduce information or something along those lines. I can't remember the context.
It was it was literally filling time. It was, just.
It didn't seem. That's why it's fascinating, because it didn't seem like anything. It just seemed like words.
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't come from there's a little bit of truth in every lie. No, I was completely just BSing.
Well,
I was diarrhea of the mouth.
Well, the reason it's offending him is because it's true.
Do you really think so?
Of course, people don't get offended by stuff that's not true.
Well, I didn't mean it, but it did hit a nerve.
So anyway, it really pissed John off. But then what's interesting since then is we do this game with Two Stats to the Lie with Andrew Callahan, which is entirely deduction.
Right.
And John's just abhorrent.
Yeah.
At that game. And then I felt because it was the same day we did Two Stats and a Lie. So when we were doing that quiz, I felt the need to help him. I really did.
Yeah.
I felt, now I'm making it worse by announcing this, but I did feel the need to help him because I didn't want him to fail twice in a show.
Wow.
Because both of those things are completely deduction.
They are. You don't know those three stats that Callahan comes in with. So you have to be like,
I got McCarthy's
all right,
name wrong.
how is he trying to trip us up here? You have to deduce like, oh, he's saying it this way, and I bet there's a way. John's like, no, I know the number of touchdown passes Drake May threw in week 2, and I know this other thing, but I don't know that one, so that is the lie. Well, it's not about what you know. It's what you can deduce. He did not like that.
It's about what you don't know. Trying to figure it out.
Yes.
And so he was giving him these like bird things with these multiple choice answers, and it was all no one knows, so you have to deduce what sounds like a positive, because these are going to be positive things about the animal. So I knew he would be reeling from this stuff. And I wanted him to go out on a high note. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But the merch that McTakey's wearing over there from the U.S. Open, I have stuff from a U.S. stuff from it. I was given stuff, and I still went and bought more stuff. I went and looked at it just so I could have some kind of a comparison. Because when you go to the Masters, I only went once, but everyone talks about.
No, you went to the Masters? I've never heard.
I did. I could tell you the story. Do we have time? Do we have? I need the rest of the hour.
Pull. You know what? It's holidays. Just pull up the hour of the golf show where he came in and took you from the time he got off the plane until he got back on the plane.
So,
98.5 The Golf Club.
Very good. People will go in there. I think I spent like $700-800 on stuff. But the average for every single person who walks in those gates, and you have to figure there are people who are there every year. There are people who go for all 4 days, and they've averaged it out that people spend on merchandise alone $246 per person per day at the Masters. It is a staggering. I mean, you're talking tens of millions of dollars.
Average income for an event. Like a sporting event or a concert, do you think that there's anything higher than the Masters? Including the Super Bowl.
If you count the entire week of the Super Bowl, people going to like the NFL, no, because people already have like their team jerseys and stuff that go to the Super Bowl.
No, higher per person income for a person who attends the event.
Per capita, no, God, no.
Because I know that they give everyone in Augusta, like around the country club, they give them tickets. Did you know that?
No, that's not.
Yeah, they do. Because this guy at 99X that was a promotions guy, that was like a 45-year-old promotions guy, like that drove the van.
Yeah.
Had Masters passes every year, and I would go, why are you not selling them, stupid? And he would go. As you could probably relate. I mean, you would. Of
course
I mean,
you go.
it's a once in a lifetime experience that you would do every year.
Maybe something like these Formula One events, like the
like Monaco.
Yeah, that's got to be a pretty high per capita attendee number.
All right, yeah, you're right. But let's say North American sports.
Yeah, how about the U.S. Open tennis thing there in New York?
No. I know people that go there that you can get in for a day. It's expensive once you're there, and you're trapped. But you can go to the U.S. Open. You can go to the U.S. Open on like one of the first days of the U.S. Open, and it's not ridiculous.
Yeah. The thing with the Masters is you can't buy tickets. It's really difficult to buy tickets for it. You have to, either win them in that lottery, which I've been trying for years, and I just stopped trying, or you have to be given the tickets by one of these corporations that somehow gets them. And who are they giving those to?
They're big clients, and that's the thing, is that they rent the places, and then they rent the houses, and then they bring the clients in. That's how you experienced, right? The station brought people to the Masters.
The station brought clients, and it was the year after COVID. I think we have time. It was 2021, and it was the first year they were letting people back on. They had the Masters in 2020, but late. They pushed it until November, and there was nobody out there.
That was a dark spring.
It was. But the spring of 2021, I think it was about like 20% capacity they allowed at the Masters. And they had one extra ticket on Saturday, and Schneeklaw said, hey, this client bailed or whatever. He said, if you get down here, you can go, and you got a bed for you to sleep in, say, Friday night, and then you can go Saturday morning. But then you got to get the hell out of here because other clients are coming in Saturday night to go on Sunday. So that's what I did. I flew down Friday night. I stayed there at the house, and I was there with a sales guy and a couple of clients, and I rented like the last car in Augusta to get myself from the airport to this house. And I
if
told
you
him,
put a black light in the car when he returned it, oof.
That's
that was one excited young
really
man.
more from the Arby's I enjoyed. Sitting in the Arby's parking lot across the street from Augusta, just long.
Yeah, right off the 18th green. You could just walk to
watching the gates, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, I'm willing to drive us there. I don't know what it's going to be like, but we're going early and we're staying late. So if you want any other type of transportation, you have to figure it out on your own. But we all went together, and it was good. It was good in the biblical sense of the word. Good. Have you heard the good news? That's what I'm talking about.
Better than Ezra wrote a song about it.
They did. Great Norm Macdonald joke.
I don't know if that's a great one.
No, the number one song from the summer on the college airplay chart, better than Ezra. Coming in at number two,
Ezra. Yeah.
Ezra.
Yeah, I don't know. In the pantheon of Norm Macdonald jokes,
I saw one yesterday that he did on Weekend Update that you could not do today.
There's a lot of them. He was the best ever update guy.
It was to the year Tom Hanks and Jodie Foster were both nominated at the Oscars for Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump and Jodie Foster, and I forget what movie where she was playing some kind of impaired adult. And he said it was the Oscars, very controversial best blank category.
Yeah, Adam had to turn his mic on. He did not care for that.
I remembered the name of the movie. It's Nell.
Oh, Nell. He said Nell.
Of course you do. Whenever he wants a good cry, he puts on Nell.
You ever seen it?
No.
Oh, me neither.
Why would I see Nell?
Never.
They showed it at the library, at the Woburn Library.
Screened it.
They screened it.
It's one of the summer films they screened.
It's a very depressing that. Who Ate a Gilbert Grape?
Yeah.
They do the whole thing. They just have a Life Goes On marathon. It's a whole situation over there. It's a whole situation. All right. Very good. We have Matt McCarthy here. We will go over everything that happened last night. The Bruins played relatively late and then well into the evening.
Oh.
And they are one of the leaders in the league in a certain game category. You know that? Did you know that? Or am I coming in hot?
You're coming in hot. Why don't you tease us all and tell us what it is next?
I'll edge you. Imagine you right now. I'll come back and you'll finally get released. We'll have
all
that
I've
for
ever
you.
wanted.
That's right. We'll have that for you in just
Like
a
a
moment.
soaking situation.
Yeah, baby. The decorator.
I no longer love things.
Let's go. Let's ride.
98.5.
Like, let's roll the dice.
Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we are Tusher and Hardy. All right, so who's doing what happened? Oh, Hardy's doing what happened last night. What happened last night, Hardy?
Bruins were in Calgary. Their trip out west and up north continues, and after a scoreless first period, Calgary struck early in the first, and then less than a minute later,
Pospisil will flip it down toward the right wing corner. Kadri brings it back out toward the blue line from there. To Huberdeau, back to Kadri on a give and go, shoots and scores. And just like that, the Flames make it 2-0.
So again, a scoreless first period, and then a minute 21 into the second, the Flames are up 2-0. I was thinking to myself, they look pretty good in the first. I thought Calgary played maybe a little bit better, but some of the issues been seeing with the Bruins, they're cleaning them up, they're getting better, and they
in particular? I disagree.
I
I thought that the first period they were offensively completely inept.
Oh, offensively, there's still big issues, and I.
How many shots they have in the first period? I'm not being cute. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either, but
it didn't seem like
you know what bothers me the most right now is Pasternak. I mean, he looks
not alone.
I mean, the guy who was just like a magician, and he was never great. He was never that strong on the puck, and I get it. I'm not expecting him to weave through two defenders and muscle his way in front of the net and get dirty goals, but I still expect him to either be the guy behind the net who finds somebody out in front, or be the guy camped out in that sweet spot of his over, just off the left face-off circle or the right, depending on where you're
call it the
looking at
sugar wall.
Yeah, and just, get down on that one knee and just put one upstairs. And when's the last time you saw like one of those quintessential Pasternak goals, or seen more than one over the course of 3 games?
Yeah, he had one the other night, and then
it goes away.
Right.
All right. So, I don't mean to harp on that, because there was good news. Elias Lindholm, his first trip back to Calgary, is traded to Vancouver last January, I think, and he eventually ends up in Boston. So here he is back in Calgary.
Batted through neutral ice. Here is Elias Lindholm skating onto it, left circle, shoots and scores! Lindholm just able to get that through Dustin Wolf, and the Bruins have some life, down 2-1.
So there we go. That was about 5 minutes after Calgary took the 2-0 lead. Unfortunately, Calgary would score again late in the second and make it 3-1. So it's a 2-goal game going into the third period. Then what?
Zacha turns onto his forehand before ball knocks it away from him. Pasternak's got it now far circle. Back to Lohrei. One-timer. Misfired, but it came to Geekie in front. He scores. Lohrei's stick snapped, but the Bruins get a good bounce, and Geekie finishes it to cut it to a 3-2 game.
What do you call that? A little puck luck? A little luck there?
Dirty goal.
Okay, that's
Dirty.
all right. You got to take him. If you're not scoring him any other way, you take that.
Greasy. Greasy goal.
Slippery.
All right.
That's right.
Calgary up 3-2.
It's Bon Jovi's third album.
2.5 minutes later. What happened?
Carlo and Coronado battling for possession. Coyle as well now comes away with the puck. Lobs one through neutral ice. Marchand was behind the defense as the puck got knocked out of the air with a high stick. He's got it now on the far circle. Goes around Anderson and around behind the net. Centering pass for McLaughlin. Coming on late. They score! Mark McLaughlin crashing to the net. Somehow that puck found its way under Dustin Wolf, and it's a tie game.
Boom, there we go. Tied at 3, and that's how regulation would end. Now, Fred, does your little nugget on the Bruins have anything to do with overtime or shootouts?
Maybe.
Okay. Do you want to just skip to the I don't know. What do you want to do?
I'll jump in when necessary. Hold on to your hats, audience.
Okay. Overtime.
McAvoy hands to Pasternak, cutting in across the Calgary line. Right circle, score! seconds to go in overtime. Wins it for the Bruins, a come-from-behind victory.
All right, here you go. Hang on to your hats. The Bruins, by the way, with many multiple goal deficits in the third period, they have overcome as many of those, I believe, as all but 2 teams in the NHL. Now, that's good and bad. Their record in overtime, they've played 8 overtime games. They have victories in 5 of them.
Okay.
Giving them the third best percentage in the NHL.
Okay. What a payoff.
Yeah. And, I had a friend who worked for the Bruins, and this was a while ago, and he didn't have to go on all the road trips. And I was in Montreal, and I was with him and some players on the team, and I said, you probably don't. I'm like, where do you go? And he's like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, in Calgary. I've told this story a million times, but I'm telling it again. And I'm like, why do you go to Calgary? He goes, well, the team loves going to Calgary. And I said, why? And he said, Hooters? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, there's a restaurant like Hooters in Calgary, but when the women start, they sign a contract that they will work there for a certain amount of time, and the company will give them breast implants.
Oh, yes.
And then if you're a hockey player at a bar in Calgary, the chances of the woman wanting to sleep with you are extraordinarily high. So this is almost like going into a place and, taking your pick of the waitresses, and then you get to go home with them.
Nice.
And and there's a certain physical stature that they have to live up to. And so this is why this was the way they went to Calgary. And Brett the Hitman Hart and the Hart Foundation. They're from Calgary, where the dad would stretch him out. Stu Hart. So that was what they would do there.
Nice.
Yeah. And did you go by any chance to the Hooters in Indianapolis during the Super Bowl?
I did not go to the Indianapolis Super Bowl.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. So when the Super Bowl was Indianapolis has one restaurant. And it was a good place for the Super Bowl. It's very navigated. In fact, if the Super Bowl was back in Indianapolis, I'd suggest people would go because you can walk everywhere. It's a perfect city for it. The stadium's downtown. Downtown's you could walk. Look, you don't want to live there. You don't want to spend more than 3 days there, but it's good for while you're there. So they have St. Elmo's, which is a famous restaurant, and then they don't have a lot else. So one night we're out, so we go to Hooters because Hooters is one of the only restaurants downtown, and oh my goodness, they flew in the hottest chick from every Hooters. They literally did. They flew in the hottest chick from every Hooters, in the world, and I've never been in a place with more cartoonishly hot women in my entire life, which for me was heaven. Because I like very much unrealistic standards of beauty. I'm the opposite of Hardy.
You've got this weird thing about voluptuousness.
Yes, I do. I like breasts and all those things.
Sure.
And on thin women, for the most part. But it's completely not a good standard. Now Hardy, as you know, likes women with beat up baseball caps and large flannels on.
They don't have to be large. They can be. I don't want form fitting.
Yeah, you don't want them to tie it up Daisy Duke style.
No.
And show abdomen.
Who do you think you are? Yeah. Little Miss, look at me. No.
Yeah. So it could be a something like a tight flannel.
You go ahead and try and cuddle with somebody who's in a skin tight Hooters tank top, or you cuddle with somebody who's wearing a nice flannel. And you tell me which is more pleasing.
You're right. It's more warm. It's comforting.
It is.
I think I'm Team Hardy on this.
Okay. Do you well, this is what he likes, not just for cuddling, which he's a big cuddler. Believe
I love
me.
to cuddle.
He doesn't like a good cuddle.
Do you like a nightshirt? Like a nightshirt?
I'm going to throw a little curveball at you here. You know what I like? Naked. I don't care for anything. If it's night time, the best thing would be just naked. Now, after that, A long T-shirt, yes.
Okay, but you would like to sleep next to someone naked.
Sure.
A lot can go wrong if you sleep with someone naked every night. You got those sheets. Women have many. They have a lot of stuff coming out of them. You're comfortable with that. You don't want a safeguard between the sheets and what's going on with the woman?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it.
I like when everyone puts their clothes back on after. I'm a big fan of that, regardless of my relationship with them. I'm a fan of not all the clothes, but just some clothes. Some protection between you and myself and the person, our orifices in the bed.
All right.
I'm a fan of that.
Now, are you the first to put the clothes back on, Fred?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a
Do
great
you leave your
message to
socks
send.
on?
Yeah.
No, because I've found. Do you really want to know? No, because I found I can't grip the ground with socks on if I'm in a standing position, which is at my age a position I very much like to be in. I like to be standing, and so if I have socks on, I'll slip, and I can't get enough grounding.
It's a hazard.
It's not a hazard so much as
That sounds like a hazard.
No, I'm not afraid I'm going to fall. It's just I can't get the right amount of torque.
Nick was just saying you get them grippy hospital socks.
Yeah.
Why don't you wear those?
Oh, don't think I don't have them.
There you go, right?
Don't think I haven't. I didn't take some back from detox. You don't think I've been in the, as Hardy said, the puzzle factory where they give you those? That's the
right.
first
They
thing
dole
they
those
issue
out
'em.
like crazy.
And then you have to, and then you get to
Wrong
know.
choice of words. Sorry. Go on.
That's like the N word for people like me. Watch it. But then you got to ask the nurse, can I have more of these rubber socks to take home? And they're like, yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Or you just bring them home from Ty Law's launch trampoline park down there. You get some of those. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, they're not made to keep you alive.
I may need you to draw me a little schematic of you finding purchase with your feet while you're engaged in coitus, because you have told me a couple of things unsolicited. I might add.
Watch it.
I
have
about your
people that listen
about your proclivities, and I'm just trying to figure out why you would need to be standing.
You can figure it out. You would put them at the edge of the bed, and then you.
But I've seen your bed. I put your bed together. I don't know that it's tall enough for that.
Well, thank you. And second of all, it's you can. I mean, you don't. I'm not standing on my tippy toes. I mean, I can, put myself at an angle.
You're gonna have to draw it. I'm gonna need to.
Well, so this would be ideal size. So I would be more like this.
Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. So there's a visual that goes along with this.
Yeah, because the people want the visual for sure.
Yeah,
they do.
That goes without saying. That's
you have no box spring.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do have a. If I don't, it comes in whatever the bed is. It's supposed to be that way. It's plenty high for it.
Okay,
it is. It's not. I'd say that the bed is the 3.5 feet high, and I'm 6'2".
You get those bed lifts too that you put under the.
I don't need anything from
feet
you.
of the bed.
Stop. I know what a bed lift is for you. It's having enough newspaper to put under the bench.
So I can fit more newspaper under the bed.
Hardy, might I suggest a project for your friend, given you helped put his bed together?
Yeah.
How about a nice adjustable base?
No,
I'm telling you,
I don't need
Fred,
that.
as you age, you're going to need it, though. You're going to need it.
So when I age, so will my will to have sex, and then that will even out.
Right.
But I've found that yes, you need to remove your socks, or else and also women seem to get offended if you don't remove your socks.
Yeah, it's not very sexy.
No, they don't like that. I don't care.
Artie Lang told a great story about when they were doing one of the Stern shows in Las Vegas, and he hooked up with a girl at the, I think it was
Was it the prostitute?
He didn't know it was a prostitute.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Until the next morning,
right.
They woke up.
That was a great story.
And
yeah.
he's rolling around, and he's like, okay, I guess I got to get up. She's like, yeah, I got to go. And she said, so I guess just like $500 for everything, which A, was a hell of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And B, he then tells the story of getting up and searching around the duffel bag in his room, wearing only his socks, trying to fish out enough money to hand over
There's
to
a
the
visual.
woman.
I can't think of anything more humiliating
How undignified.
than a woman going, and then what are you going to do?
Right.
Like, you can't say no.
Oh,
you can't say, like, I didn't know. I mean, you completely have to. In fact, she was very nice only to charge him $500.
That's what I said.
Because she could have gotten really whatever she wanted.
Well, and that's what he said. He said 500. Who knows how much it really was.
Right. I guess that it would have to be what you had on you in cash. And so they would have every right to, or get everything that you have on you. I've never slept with a prostitute, but I would imagine that they kind of have you at that point. That if they're waiting until the next morning to ask for the money, you're kind of at their, unless you're a psycho, you're kind of at their mercy.
But that's also the thing, Fred. You said it. Like, he actually sounds like he slept with her.
No, they slept together.
Yeah.
I heard that. That's a famous one. I sought that one out. I didn't, because I didn't have it where I lived.
But you're not using that as a euphemism for sex. No, they
they slept together.
Yes.
Like, yeah. No, I meant if they sleep over. Yeah, I don't say sleeping together with a prostitute.
Okay, and you did say you've never slept with a prostitute, so you've had sex with prostitutes.
Fair enough. I didn't use it correctly. No, I've never had sex with a prostitute.
Oh.
I couldn't do it, and it's not a moral thing.
Thought you were cool.
Is that if I'm with a woman, I'm not paying. I'm always questioning if they want to be doing this anyway, or if they're disgusted by me.
Yeah.
And if I knew for a fact they didn't want to be doing it with me, and it was only a monetary thing, I wouldn't be able to do it. I would be way too in my own head. There's no way I would be able to do it.
Unless you were, wearing your grippy socks.
Your special socks? You don't think you'd be able to pull it off?
I don't have. I've never put on my special socks. That was a suggestion from Adam. I'm just telling
you should try it. It'll give you superpowers.
You asked
your whole experience.
All right, settle down. You asked me if I wore socks when I was having sex, and I told you, interestingly enough,
yes,
I've come to found that not just for the satisfaction of the woman, me having my socks off for the intimacy of it, there is a practical reason to have my socks off. And also, I've had sex in beds that aren't my bed. Believe it or not. I mean, there's
show off.
I've been on the road.
So this is something I think we should try. I think you should do the experiment with the grippy socks, and then see if it creates some kind of Pavlovian response. If you just pull them out of the drawer, say at 2:00 on a Tuesday, and see if you are aroused at the sight of the grippy socks.
Well, what I would do is I would stop everything and I would go, hang on. I was in detox and I got these grip socks that I think would be very useful in this situation. Let me find them. And then I would go around searching, and I would maintain my erection the entire time.
I don't know if you want to do it on a first date. This is something that you eventually...
Well, she's sleeping with on a first date. So she can't resist this. No. So I'll do what I want. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines. News 98.5 The Sports Hub. Fred, what's it like to work with Hardy and Wallace?
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on The Sports Hub.
This is Robert Goulet.
Yes, very good. This is one I used to play when Fred and I would cross over back in the BCN days. We love his smooth delivery. Jingle bells. Oh, here's another good one right here. He's gonna do the ho ho no no, I think.
True talent. The best thing about Robert Goulet is obviously the Will Ferrell impression, which is hard to find on YouTube. I don't know what happened, but it's very hard to find.
SNL's so stingy about their content on YouTube. The older content, I should say.
It's weird, though, because they are and they aren't. It's like you can find everything with Jimmy Fallon in it, and you don't want that.
No.
And then anything that was funny, you can't find.
Right.
Like the Rock sketch where they had the superheroes and he was pedophile man or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Like, that's very difficult to find now.
And like for a while, you could get it on the NBC, like the network web had like a SNL page on the website and a lot of stuff you could. But it was weird because like you could get like two of the like of a certain game show on YouTube and then like two on the website. It was just silly.
You know my frustration with Peacock is that they have full episodes of every Saturday Night Live except the Ebersol years in 1985-86 was my favorite, or 84-85, I can't remember what it was. It had 85 in there. Was my favorite cast of all time, and they're shortened episodes. And they also don't have the musical guests.
Yeah.
Oh. No, something came up in my algorithm the other day. It was from the Fallon years, and Tracy Morgan was in there, and the sketch was these guys are all in the Army, and they're getting ready to go on some expedition, and Will Ferrell is the old prospector that's going to go along with them.
Yeah.
And all they do is break for the entire sketch, and it starts with Fallon, who can't even get the words out. He's so overcome with joy and laughter, and I'm like, oh, God, does he suck.
Well, if Horatio Sands, who I actually like, and Fallon were in a sketch, that was just they were going to break. They broke in every sketch. And the best is when Tracy Morgan got actually pissed.
Yeah, and Tracy Morgan was laughing, but then he stands up and like actually delivers his line, and he gets through it, which those idiots couldn't, and they just sit there laughing the whole time. It's like, God, this is.
And it sucks because they like probably wrote some of that stuff. Then there was table reads. Then there was right before the show they do a full run through of the show in front of a live audience.
Yeah.
So. Look, when they break naturally on Saturday Night Live, it's great. Like it is great. Like in the Van Down by the River sketch, when Applegate and David Spade are covering their faces. Like when you can tell someone's killing it, and people can't keep a straight face, or something so absurd that people can't keep a straight face. Like Hader broke in great ways too.
And that's the difference right there. Is Fallon? It was always forced. With Hader, it was always natural because he was just that funny.
Well,
and Fallon almost did it as a bit, almost like, people like when I do this, so I'm going to do it all the time.
But beyond that, it ruins it. Like, because the break is one of the great things about live comedy is when they break, because, like, the Debbie Downer sketch, which Fallon's in, and ironically, Fallon's not the first one to break in it, but it's got Lindsay Lohan when she was so good looking. And, so good looking. And Amy Poehler and that great Debbie Downer sketch, and Horatio Sands is in it too, so they didn't stand a chance. But they're legitimately trying not to break, and it's funny because then what's her face has got to keep the sad face.
Rachel Dratch,
where they go close on her,
and she can't do it.
That's great,
I'm laughing thinking about it right now.
But then when there's 3 sketches a night where you're breaking, it's like, okay,
cheapens it.
Now it's the Carol Burnett show.
Right.
Now you're just like, and then it's Jackie Rogers Jr. Please, please, please. If we could just, you're not making this any easier. Now, what you'll be interested to know is that if you were to review the scripts from tonight's performance, there was not a stitch of what was just said in it. That's called improvisation. Like, stop. What this naughty boy just did was not in rehearsal. And that, my friends, is unfair.
Those were the best. They really were. Let's get back to what happened last night. The NBA Cup was determined and awarded last night in Las Vegas, much to my surprise. Here's Adam Silver giving the trophy, or is he?
Congratulations, Wes, John, owners, Doc. What an incredible show. Now, for the players, first of all, for these young folks from the YMCA, we have some special medals to present you. Please present the medals.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do we need to go on?
No, we're all done.
They found some kids from the Y, huh?
Yeah, they did. The Milwaukee Bucks, beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 97-81 to win the Emirates NBA Cup thing.
I didn't see any of it. I'm fascinated that they kept Oklahoma City to 81 points. And I'm fascinated that they scored 97 points and won that game by 16. They're doing something very well defensively. So maybe this is a team that they were super psyched on winning this thing too. Like Giannis went off after the game, like going crazy about how much they wanted to win this thing, and good for them. Hopefully Milwaukee's all right. It would be nice. It would be nice to have a team in the East, because let's see what Cleveland is. But it would be nice to have like a team in the East with stars, like coupled legit stars to challenge the Celtics, so it's not so boring. Which is where the Celtics are at. They're so good, you're just looking for something to make it not so boring.
Right.
Milwaukee's the only team in the East that has anywhere near the ceiling to compete with the Celtics.
I tend to agree, yeah.
Now, I mean, I don't believe in the Bucks, and I know they're on a good run right now, but I don't believe in their ability to even defend or anything like that. Again, holding, Oklahoma City to 81 is surprising to me. Let's see it, given that they've really struggled.
Let's see it throughout the course of a 7-game series, because the thing that I noticed from the Bucks right away after they won the championship, there seemed to be like a bit of we did that. We won. And for Giannis, a guy that was, predicted to win lots and lots of championships, seems like after he won, he felt good about that, as opposed to inspired to go win it 9 more times.
I think that we've seen with Giannis, like, fame change someone in real time. Because Giannis Giannis was not the physical specimen he is now when he was drafted. He became a star. I think he's still really loved in Milwaukee, and I think he's still a really good guy. But then remember, he re-signed in Milwaukee, says, I don't want to leave. And then they win the championship, and then they don't win it a couple years, and then he's talking about leaving. So, like, I don't think Giannis 5 years ago would have been a guy that said, I'm leaving. I think you're watching fame affect someone in real time.
Finally, my apologies, Fred, for not mentioning this earlier. The Showdown 2024 last night was on TNT. Yeah.
Don't blame me for us going late ever, Adam.
Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler beat Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka under the lights at Shadow Creek in Las Vegas.
That's very exciting.
Why do you even say things that we already know? I mean, yeah, we all saw it. It did a 99 share. All right, we'll be back.
I watched it.
I know.
Flipping back and forth between that and the Bruins.
You don't have to justify if you watched a local sporting event. I know what you watched. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
David Pastrnak, a game winner in overtime last night. 38 seconds left as the Bruins came back to beat Calgary 4-3. Morgan Geekie and Mark McLaughlin scored in the third period as the Bees erased a 2-goal deficit en route to the win. Elias Lindholm also found the back of the net. Bruins return to action tomorrow night in Edmonton as they continue their swing through Western Canada. Celtics are off until tomorrow night when they play Chicago. The Bucks won the NBA Cup last night. They beat Oklahoma City 97-81. Patriots back on the practice field later on today as they get ready for Buffalo on Sunday, a game that's now at 4:25. The Chargers game the week after now set for Saturday the 28th at 1 p.m. Cardinals extending safety Budda Baker, 3 years, $30 million guaranteed. Michael Penix Jr. named the new starting quarterback in Atlanta. Norfolk State University has hired Michael Vick as their new head coach, and the Yankees yesterday traded for Cody Bellinger, outfielder and first baseman from the Chicago Cubs. Headlines are brought to you by the 99 Restaurants. Brought to you, they have the perfect holiday gift, which are 99 gift cards. They're the perfect gift for everyone on your list. For every $25 you purchase, receive a $5 bonus card for yourself. You gotta love the Nines. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston's Home for Sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub, your next update in 30 minutes.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub. You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
You know I feel so good. I said I feel so good.
Yeah, do you?
I feel so good.
Do you feel good about yourself? Tony Bennett had me in an effing Christmas special. Come in my office and me, you, and this copper watcher. He fixes tickets.
Peeping.
This is making me miss Chachi. Who had the
Troy
biggest
Jr.
Who had the biggest office in the history of offices.
You are not wrong about that.
Yeah, Chachi had a way too big office. But while Laquadera and Berendini are swimming in money, I'm screwed sitting here working in this dump. No one talented is here anymore. We don't even play the Beatles. All right, Hardy, you have a big plan for us today. What's going on? It's the end of the year. Everyone's excited about the end of the year.
Oh, the
and
people love the
ranking
list.
things.
The list at the end of the year, and Google, which is the world's search engine, puts out results every year of their most searched items, the biggest trending topics, and they break it down globally. They break it down country by country, and it gives a glimpse into what people were thinking about and asking about. So, again, you will have to deduce things in this
thank
exercise.
God Wallet's not here.
And
Matt, you please don't humiliate yourself. That chair is it's a place where deduction goes to die.
Do my best.
And don't focus so much on what people think of as being their favorite or the most popular, but things that people had to search in order to learn more about. If I were to say, a certain musician, you might immediately jump to Taylor Swift. But people know everything about Taylor Swift, so they're not necessarily searching her out and digging deeper to find out what exactly is going on.
Well, speak for yourself, Hardy.
Okay, so let's start with the actors. And there's an actor/comedian that was in the United States the most searched person in 2024. And I would say this is because of things that he not necessarily said in 2024, but things he's been saying for years.
Gabe Kaplan.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Okay.
I think he was serious about Hinchcliffe.
No.
It wasn't Gabe Kaplan. He had about his uncle in Bensonhurst?
No, this is a comedian. I think of him more of as a comedian than actor who's been saying things for years, and people searched to find out what he has been saying.
Red Skelton?
Dave Chappelle.
No. What did Dave Chappelle say over the last...
They don't like him because he's made comments about trans folks.
Fred, you've said this. This guy had the inside scoop on something.
Oh, like a Cat Williams.
There we go. Cat Williams. The what the hell?
Cat Williams and Eminem, if you go back, have been saying stuff about, and 50 Cent too, but 50 Cent's reveling in this, and he has stuff ready to go, like pre-produced. They've been talking about Puff Daddy and others for a very long amount of time, and 50 Cent now is saying that Jay-Z tried to keep him out of the Super Bowl performance with Dre and Eminem, and 50 Cent seems to be bursting at the seams, like getting ready to, like he knew the Puffy stuff, and now, so if I'm Kevin Hart or Jay-Z or something like that, even if it's not criminal, because almost worse in hip-hop, almost worse than any criminal activity is what?
That's having same-sex relations.
Exactly. And then if that's even rumored about you, that is a death knell in hip-hop. Unfortunately. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, but I don't make the rules.
Treat you like veto? Is that the way it works?
I mean, you have to move to New Hampshire and do a boring season. I mean, you have to have the worst season of your show while you explore a gay relationship for no reason, which could have been great if they would have gone after Meadows' boyfriend, who discovered that he was gay, because that's the character we all could relate to. The guy, by dating the girl, gets caught up in this mob thing. If they would have like attacked him and done all that, that would have been a great season. But instead, they just explored a gay relationship that no one cared about. And you thought it would be interesting because it was a mobster being gay, but it was even more, just as boring as a same-sex relationship.
You talking about Johnny Cakes?
Yeah.
I like those episodes.
Because Billy Eichner, who I love, put out a...
Got up there and disconnected the power during the fire. Yeah, he's heroic.
Yeah, you like that. Did you kick rocks and put your hands in your pockets while you watched it?
Yeah.
But Billy Eichner, who I love, put out a gay rom-com, and it taught me things about the way gay people have sex that I did not know.
Oh.
Yeah. That it was not...
They wear socks?
One person did not have to be
Grips.
on their stomach, and I'm not kidding. Like, I didn't know that. Like, I didn't know there was a way to do it if you weren't on your stomach. I swear to God. Like, so now every time I see Billy Eichner, I'm like, I learned something from you, young man.
Don't say it, Hardy.
I know. I'm not. I'm not going to leave it alone.
Why? What was he going to say?
No. It's a conversation 12 and I have had in the past. But you've watched enough heterosexual pornography, Fred, to know that that is possible.
No, because I don't have a proclivity to that act. In fact, I don't like doing it. So I didn't know that was possible.
It is. All right.
By accident, but I didn't know on purpose.
All right. Celebrity
You can do
duos.
anything intentionally, Fred. Come on.
Well, not really. I didn't know. I didn't know that was possible. It was very interesting to me. I'm being absolutely entirely. I couldn't be more sincere.
I think
sound sincere.
I think we've learned about Fred is he needs to broaden his horizons.
Well, I did. I watched.
Off.
I watched the rom-com with Billy. How can I have to broaden my horizons? I found out that there were ways that homosexual men could have sex that I was unaware of, and I think that is broadening my horizon. I learned about it in a funny and loving way.
If you're talking about sword fighting, that's really not making love. That's just really boring.
Adam, I don't appreciate this. He's making light of the whole thing.
Okay. Celebrity duos. This speaks to the vapid fascination with.
Well, I'm going to say, it's not misdirection. It's got to be Travis Kelce and.
No. I have to finish the fascination with singing competition shows. So
I'm not going to do well.
This Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani were the most searched in April of 2024. For some reason, they get married in April.
I don't know, but I saw a Christmas movie. I took my daughter to one. It has Pete Holmes in it, and I went and saw it. And at the beginning, it was Pete Holmes and the female star and the director talking. We had walked into a premiere that had a half an hour of nonsense before the movie started, and the movie was not bad, but the preview for it was crazy religious. And they did a big thing of Blake Shelton in studio.
Yeah.
First of all, he's a very heavy man now. He's gotten very overweight. I can't imagine Gwen Stefani, who I don't find attractive, would like that. And I've met the woman several times. I do not find her attractive at all. I find her to be unattractive, as a matter of fact. The first time I interviewed her, she had braces and red hair, and which I didn't find attractive. And he did it was this whole thing of him singing this Christmas song, and woof. Talk about boring.
Yeah.
Why does anyone care about
I
that?
don't know. I do not know. But it also, again, like the any other duo you could mention, like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, you get inundated with that, so you don't have to search it out. One thing you did have to search out, it was the top search performance of the year. It was also a part of the Olympics. So think of a performance in the Olympics.
Breakdancing.
That is correct.
Oh, I thought it was the thing that pissed everyone off about like the religious stuff at the closing ceremonies.
Yeah. No,
they pissed off people here.
It did. In sports, the most Googled athlete, someone who just participated in a big event, and I imagine people were searching him to look at old footage of him so they could relive when he was actually good.
Oh, Mike Tyson.
Very good. Mike Tyson. And that goes twice. Very good.
I thought it was going to be the French
What the hell is
What
that?
is going on with that? That's so weird. It's like echoing, but only for the right one, right? Not for the wrong buzzer.
Yeah, you have to purposely get him wrong.
I thought it was the French guy with the penis that hit the bar.
Try another page. If you have it on another page, try it on another page.
Lord knows
Adam, I'll
Googled
find
him.
it on another page.
No one else knows but you two that it's ringing twice, by the way. It just sounds like you're playing it twice.
Now everybody knows it.
All right, very good.
Musicians. Who is the most Googled musician in 2024? Again, people want to find out what's
People
going
want to
on.
know what's going on behind the eyes of this gentleman.
Now, because, again, it's the art of deduction, right?
Alice Cooper. Correct? Because of his relationship with Groucho Marx?
I have a guess for this one.
Go ahead.
I'm guessing it's Chapel Roan. This was a big year for Chapel Roan.
Terrible.
He just likes
Awful
saying
guess.
things.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Sabrina Carpenter, also incorrect.
Oh, it's Dame Judi Dench's friend, Judy Garland.
Okay, Diddy was number 2. Usher, number 1.
Oh, because of maybe unfortunate things happened under the tutelage of Diddy while Usher was a young man. Uh-huh.
We will never get any of
There's a lot of investigation into the controversies in the R&B community between the Cat Williams and Usher thing. There's a lot of people that wanted to know what to do, and
They really
this
wanna know
doesn't
what's going
bode
on.
well for anyone. I think Usher was more of a victim than anything else, but or allegedly, if any of this is true, was the victim. But there does seem to be a lot that I wouldn't be fond of people looking into. I don't want to be associated with any of these things if I'm them. This Google search would bother me a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But does that define doom scrolling? Is that what people get into?
No. I doom scrolling is a very real thing.
So
and
what is doom scrolling?
Okay, it's like an addiction where you are seeking out information about like the end of the world, like that, like like you would be super into drones, super into the government is creating weather to get lithium out of these towns in North Carolina.
Sure.
That I know people who do it, and they bother you via text about things. And they know they're doing it too, but it's a compulsion that can't be stopped. It's actually incredibly unhealthy.
So it's when you're negative news that makes you sad, anxious, or angry,
Yes.
as opposed to just going into dark places and finding out weird things about people.
Correct.
Okay.
No, like it would be like following specific social media accounts that you know are conspiracy theories, like negative conspiracy theories about the end of the world or some. It's actually. Again, I had a friend who killed himself after getting super into all this stuff. Like it was a sign he was losing his mind.
Mm-hmm.
So I find if you're doom scrolling, you gotta like 12-step that or something. You gotta quit that because that's an addiction. That addiction can kill you. Certainly make your life a lot worse.
Finally, 3 movies in the top 5, the most Googled movies from 2024. 3 of them are sequels.
Hardly working.
Name one of the sequels that made the top 5 most searched movies of 2024.
Blues Brothers 2000.
It's not from.
According to the sports business.
You even got a Wallach pig noise in there.
Thank you. Why is there
According
a
to the
big
Sports
noise?
Business Journal, the Fenway Sports Group has shifted its focus from possibly purchasing the Celtics.
I don't get
when we
it.
did all the when we did all the Wallach animal noises because he mispronounced something.
You're just scaring him.
Do
by
the
doing
dinosaur
that.
one. You got the dinosaur one on there?
According to the Sports Business Journal, the Fenway Sports Group has shifted its focus from possibly coaching the Celtics.
That was really funny. We got to find a way to work those back in more often.
Okay, I saw a lot of movies.
3 sequels made it into the top 5 most Googled movies of 2024.
Yeah.
3 sequels.
I
Just
saw,
name one, and
I
we
saw
can
a
end
lot-
this.
Dune.
Oh, Freddie
Oh.
T. Finally coming back.
I don't think I
McTakey?
saw a single movie this year. Like in the theater, Hardy.
All right.
I don't think I saw a single one.
You want to know the movies I've seen with my daughter this year?
No.
Here
Beetlejuice
we go.
Beetlejuice was
Okay.
the other sequel,
Makes sense.
and Inside Out 2.
Huh?
Inside Out 2,
No, I was
Beetlejuice,
making a
Beetlejuice.
joke about Beetlejuice.
Doing better.
Here we go. Would you like to know the movies I've seen this
I
year?
already
It seems
said- I
like
already
we are
said no,
going
thank
to.
you.
Yeah.
American Fiction,
Yeah.
Mean Girls, Wonka. I didn't see this with Zoe, but Poor Things.
Well, how do you have this as a list on your phone?
Because I was inspired by a director who does this. Bob Marley, One Love, Kung Fu Panda 4, Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire, The Fall Guy, If, Inside Out, Despicable Me 4, Fly Me to the Moon,
And tell McTakey why you go to the movies so much.
Thelma, Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah, tell him.
Harold and the Purple Crayon.
Harold and Maude.
Great. Well, that's your favorite movie. Twisters, The Wild Robot, My Old Ass, Saturday Night, The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which was the one with the guy in it, Venom, The Last Dance, The Red One,
Featuring your pal, Esoteric.
The Red One, which I did not see with my daughter. I just saw that it was a Tampax commercial, and Moana 2.
Tell McTakey why you like going to the movies.
They at the Showcase Superlux in Chestnut Hill have a machine that has a almost infinite amount of soda combinations.
So Daddy Warbucks over here
Right.
spends $50 on movie tickets so he can go mix up Diet Coke
It's called
with
disposable income, baby.
Orange Shasta.
Huh.
No,
So
no
that's
that's
the
not what.
approach.
That's not how it works. Stupid. That would be anywhere. What a dummy. That's called a suicide. My bad. But that's what it's called when you mix all those flavors. No.
So what do you do?
So it's one of those big machines where you've got like the buttons that you can press that will put out 30 different types of sodas. One of those.
Combinations in that you go to Diet Coke and they have cream Diet Coke,
Yeah.
cherry
We've
Diet
all
Coke.
seen them.
Yeah.
Well, you weren't describing it correctly, were you, dumbass?
Okay, so
I mean, I
all right, what
understood.
do you do that is so groundbreaking that you have to go to the movies to do it?
They have the machine. They have the machine. You could, so I could, whatever I'm in the mood for, I can go back 3-4 times and get whatever combination of flavor I want in that soda.
You can go do that at Five Guys. Just buy yourself a sody pop and then just sit for 2 hours in Five Guys. And
Or how? They have one of those machines?
yes, they have them in many places.
But at Five Guys, you're only there for like a little bit of time.
you can spend as much time as you want there. Eat the free peanuts.
You can't loiter. And I don't. Five Guys. I mean, look at me. You think I got this body going to Five Guys? I mean, I got this body going to the movies.
Oh, one of the most searched TV shows, Fred, was the one that you and I both determined was disturbing, but for the wrong reasons. It was a TV show, limited run series, and the thing that people got all hung up on in this TV show, they're focusing on the wrong person.
The one with the stalker. Yeah,
Yes.
the baby reindeer.
Very good.
Yeah, Baby Reindeer came out, and then there's this brutal episode of it that doesn't involve the stalker at all. And you're like, and if this is a true story, there's a stalker that was an annoying person, and then there is a person that was a felon. It's someone who should not be on the planet walking among us. I stopped watching it at that point because I'm like, what the hell is this guy trying to do?
Right.
Like, I mean, what's the point of this series now? Like, now you're just saying a bunch of bad stuff that happened to you, and I don't know what this has to do with the lady. Like, I don't know what this bad. I get how he tried to connect the two. He's saying because of those bad experiences, he was kind of wanted the attention from the stalker. But I mean, come on, dude. And then he has the audacity to go, don't look into who it was. The rapey guy, don't look at the rapist. Don't look into the rapist. The guy who repeatedly drugged and raped me. Don't look into him. Now, I've done a loose description of him in the movie and told you it's real, but don't look into it, you idiots. That's not the point of it. Oh, is it not the point of it? Isn't that the most passive aggressive? Of course you want people to look into who it is. You're justifiably very angry at the man. But this whole charade that you don't want people to know who it is, and then the idea don't look into who the woman is, and then Piers Morgan is taking advantage of her by putting her on and interviewing her. The guy made a show about her with a woman that looks exactly like her. Oh, and you don't say she's crazy? That's what the whole show's about. That whole thing pissed me off. I think it was well overrated. I know you didn't.
It was good for a couple few episodes, and then it gets so disturbing.
Yeah, and then the whole
and then it's disturbing for the wrong reasons.
Exactly, and then the whole thing surrounding it about it's a societal problem that you are interested in who these people are. Yeah. Oh, get out of here! You damn well knew what you were doing. Don't say it was a true story. Just don't say that. Just put the thing out as fiction and let people put it together in their own heads. If you're so concerned about the anonymity of the people that you are making a mockumentary about. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. We got our friend Matt McCarthy in here. He don't like these Red Sox. He loves them, but he don't like them.
That's right.
So we'll let him loose in just a moment.
Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Sports Hub.
All right. We are Toucher and Hardy, and, I listen to this radio station like everyone else, and sometimes when I'm driving around, it could be at any time of day, at any day of the week, I will hear the very talented Matt McCarthy, and I know it's Matt McCarthy because it will be a guy talking about the Red Sox, regardless of the time of year. And never sad, always upset.
Always.
I'll turn on the radio and I'll just hear, "Jeez Louise. These Sox have got me red with rage."
This is John Henry.
John Henry. John Henry was known in the land of myth as the great, strong guy who could just chop things up and get you in a tunnel. This John Henry's in a tunnel of lies. All right, so Matt McCarthy, this is the first time we've worked together.
I think we've worked together once before.
Well, who knows? It was all chaos for a long time.
Was it?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of stability going on. But nonetheless, I'm very happy to have you here. But I do your voice, and I do talk about your absolute obsession with the Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Now, you love the Red Sox.
I do.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't sound like that, but yes, I do.
No, it does, because you have to, in order to care about something that much, you have to have strong emotions. Again, love and hate.
Yes, I would say I care about the Red Sox in an unhealthy manner.
Okay, and so they're the team you care about the most.
No doubt.
Okay, when was the last time that, serious, I'm not busting your balls. When was the last time that you were happy with them?
I like the Garrett Crochet trade, so I was happy last Wednesday.
Okay,
I think that has since subsided, but yes, I'm happy.
We'll get into that. All right, so why did you hear by any chance me, while everyone was freaking about the Fried situation, did you hear me for the whole entirety, even before free agency, advocating for the deal for Crochet, and then did you hear when it happened? Wallach's complete ignorance that any of that happened.
Yes, I did hear all of that.
And it's at Fred Toucher on Instagram if you would like to see, again, how little anyone pays attention on this show. Yes?
Yes, you would come in, you'd be like, "Hi, I want the Red Sox to get Max." No, I don't want the Red Sox to get Max Fried. I want the Red Sox to get Garrett Crochet. Yeah, I heard all of this.
Yeah,
Fred.
I said you have this, I see your impression of me, not on the mark at all. So I saw that you have this, you have redundancy, you have this surplus of prospects. Why not get the younger controllable pitcher? Why? And then you'll have to extend him. And then thereby, as a result of that, it gives you money to get loose a little bit in free agency at positions. Now, here we go at positional. Get a positional player or two. Now, there are some people that are speculating that they should dip back into the high-end starting market. I think that is not a good idea. But why are you upset with them now post-Crochet?
Because they haven't spent any money. It's really that simple.
Who has, though?
The Yankees have spent money. The Yankees signed Max Fried. Obviously, the Mets have spent money.
But the Crochet came after Fried. But
yes, but the Red Sox need to do both. You
I
were
understand.
spot on. Fred, a spot-on baseball take about why you should acquire Garrett Crochet.
You understand him around the game a lot.
I understand. You listen. You know the game. You are a fan.
I'm around the game.
I'm
rubbing elbows with collegiate coaches and things of that nature. Yes, okay.
A man about
probably far more than you.
A man. Yes, that's right. A man about baseball. Fred Toucher is what I always.
I don't flex
think.
it a lot, but I have to at times. Go ahead.
Yes, they need to do both, Fred. They do. They need to trade prospects because they have 1 million of them. They're all left-handed, but they also need to go out and spend money because they have not done that in years now. The Red Sox will be a much better team if they go both routes. I've been saying this for a long time. They have not done a good enough job on a baseball operations standpoint in improving the team with John Henry's limitations. Craig Breslow has now done that. He has taken a pool of prospects and he has traded them for a young, cost-controlled pitcher. Good. That's fine. Go out and sign Corbin Burns on top of it, too.
Okay, so you want them to sign Corbin Burns because I would think that you would want them to get like Bregman or Teosco. I think wouldn't you want them to get a right-handed bat?
Yes, they need that as well.
Okay.
So they need to spend money on a right-handed bat and money on a pitcher. And they still have prospects to trade.
A top of the rotation pitcher, not because I could see wanting depth in the rotation, but you think that they have to go out. You'll be unsatisfied unless they get another number 1 or 2 starter.
If they want to really contend for the division, they need 2 top-of-the-line starters. The Yankees have Fried and Cole.
They're not going to contend for the division.
Well,
this year.
They have stated that as their goal. Not that I buy them on that, but they have stated that as their goal. They say, we don't want to just make the playoffs. We want to win the division.
Well,
if you want to do that, you need 2 top-of-the-line starters. They have 1 right now.
What did the Yankees do yesterday?
They traded for Cody Bellinger.
Okay, so you're not going to compete with Baltimore and the Yankees.
They can if they choose to spend the money. They absolutely can.
Do you think that's the best way of doing business?
I think
to compete this year. I could see competing for a wild card, but do you think that it's the best for the next 5 years for them to try to win the division this year?
Yes. How long you want to wait for it, Fred? You've been waiting 5 years already.
Well, I think that it's if you win, 82 to 95 game, 92 games, 82 to 92 games next season, you're a wild card. Look at what happened last year. Look at what's happened the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, do you think the Tigers were the team that should have gotten into past the wild card round?
Nope.
I mean, they're a bad team.
Not a chance, but they had Scooble. They had 1 guy.
Right, who they didn't trade. But, and they could have traded him. But they traded Flaherty that people wanted, that people want the Red Sox to get it. I would strongly caution against that. He gets traded every trade deadline. I think there's a reason for it. But you think they should get? You don't want Flaherty.
I would prefer Buehler over Flaherty.
Yes,
but they're a better team even if they do sign Flaherty. Does Flaherty really move the needle for me? No. But are they a better team? Yes.
But I just would be concerned as a Red Sox fan if they're making deals now just to make deals that prohibit deals in the future.
I've heard about that for too long.
But there's only really one owner. And a lot of people, by the way, do you believe this? This is interesting, and Hardy, you can get involved in this too.
Sure.
Is that the Yankees artificially raised the market for Soto, thinking that their plan B was better, just to get Cohen to spend more money?
I can see that being the approach. I don't think it matters.
Wouldn't that be smart, though?
It would be smart, but these guys...
Let me just real quick.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Mets are going to win the NL East?
I do not.
Yeah, I do not either.
I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're going to win the division. The division's too good.
Because the NL Central is a disaster now, and
that's a dangerous game to play. If you really like your plan B better, and it's going to be less expensive, you have to be certain that Soto was not going to take that offer, and you're going to end up spending $700 million that you really don't want to spend.
Let me tell you how it happens. Boris goes to you, all right, look, this year I'm going to get the Soto deal done first because I don't want to screw the rest of my clients like I have in the past. Because as you know, if the biggest free agent when there's a Soto or Ohtani doesn't sign first, it screws up teams' entire off seasons. And then you're like the Blue Jays, and you haven't done anything because you thought you had Ohtani and you had allocated all that money. So Boris goes to Cashman, and he goes, look, here's the deal. We know Cohen's going to pay Soto more, and Soto's just going to go to the team that pays him the most. I know I'm going to let you – I want you to do this. I want you to – I assure you that Cohen will pay more. I will navigate it, and I'll let you know if he won't. Let's run this up. And I'll tell you when to get out. Like, we'll do this final pitch, and I'll let you know what Cohen's doing, and kind of keep you in the mood. And then I don't know, was Fried a Boris client? Say Fried was
Burns is. I don't know if Fried was.
So anyway, obviously he has a lot of these top guys. So in the Yankees, are involved, and he goes, all right. because we know Soto's going to get the money he wants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We opened it up that way. That just occurred to me that could have been the way that happened.
Yeah, but if
that might be my experience.
If he's somehow in cahoots with the Yankees know that that Soto's rising tide is going to raise all boats, and while it may screw over the Mets in the short term, it screws everybody over, including them, long term with the money that's going to be spent.
because they know Cohen was going to get him, so they know he was gone. They like their plan B better. And it's keeping them baby brother. It's keeping the Mets baby brother. If they have this owner who's just going to throw money at everything, if it's the right thing to do or not, let's assure. Because look, they're their competition for eyes in New York. Let's keep them little brother. Let's make Soto cost so much money that it's going to break Cohen. There's only so many times he can do this.
It's not going to break Cohen though. The guy's worth $20 billion.
I understand that, but they're all worth. I mean, I understand, but how much are the Yankees worth as a team? I mean, look, Cohen's going to spend a lot of money. Not every single free agent's going to Cohen. They didn't sign Max Fried. Like there's other free agents. You're better off. You're just better off. If Cohen's going to get Soto, it's better off for the Yankees if he pays more than anyone else, and that they artificially rise the price. Look, I don't know if that happened. It's just a very interesting theory.
Yeah,
now I thought of the Boris angle, which I like me sounding intelligent.
Yeah, but I'm not going to call you unintelligent. I stopped short of thinking that they were somehow in on this with Boris in order to.
Oh, I don't think to start they were in on it with Boris, but I think when it got down to like 4 teams, if this is the case. If the Yankees believe, all right, I'll ask this: is there a way that the Yankees come out of this free agency period, this off season, better than without Soto than with Soto?
I would make the argument they're a more well-rounded team as presently constructed now.
Sure. You are not alone in that. So the belief is there is a theory, and I don't know if it's a theory based on people that know Cashman or know the Yankees, or if it's just a fun theory. That the Yankees went, okay, we'd like to keep Soto. It got down to this thing. We know Cohen's going to do whatever. Like, there's no way we're going to outbid him. Let's stay in the process long enough to get this up high enough. And then you notice how they went right away.
Right after Fried.
Right after they went Fried right the next day. Like or 2 days later, they obviously knew what they were going to do. Then they make this Bellinger trade. They obviously knew what they were going to do. I think that they thought I do believe that they think that they're better off with a combination of free agents and trades than they would have been if they just kept Soto.
You can always make that argument that you would rather have 3 players than one. Soto is the best hitter in baseball. So to come in here today and say they're better off without Juan Soto sounds a little bit ridiculous, but they're a more well-rounded team. If Max Fried's healthy, if Devin Williams is the pitcher he's been for quite some time for the Brewers, you are a better baseball team because you can pitch better than you did last year. It's really that simple.
Yeah, Soto's one of the best hitters of all time. I mean,
Right.
You want him on your team, but if you're going to lose him, it's better to lose him this way. All right, look, there you go. You got your little thing, McCarthy. Are you happy?
I'm very happy. I'm very pleased.
All right.
Thank you.
Not only am I a baseball genius, I also can break down broadcasting. You agree, Hardy, right? Correct.
Oh my God!
True expert.
You could be a consultant in a variety of fields.
Just thank you. I appreciate all of this very
Look.
legitimate praise. And now there is a new #1 podcast, and you know I'm a huge fan of the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. We'll do that in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines. runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's home for sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5, the Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
I take it this is Bad Religion.
That's right.
We are Toucher and Hardy. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Now, everyone has gone podcast crazy. They love podcasts. And one of the things about podcasts is that 99.99% of them suck. And there's no pressure to get a live audience. And someone do something besides a long-form interview. Because I got news for you. When there's a celebrity and they're doing, I don't know, 10 two-hour interviews, no one's consuming all of those. And they're not interesting.
Well, they can be interesting. I mean, the former #1 podcast in the world is given us great interviews. The Joe Rogan podcast when he had Terrence Howard on.
Wake up. Oh, that's my friend. But I had a different name for it. It was my hand.
That is, of course, Terrence Howard talking about his memories from the womb, when he was in the womb.
Straight lines. Vision, dreams, curved dots that make it up.
So there's a lot of good information on these podcasts, but being #1 is a difficult thing, Fred. And Joe Rogan, after 1 week of a brand new podcast, no longer #1 on the Apple and Spotify charts. That now belongs to a woman by the name of Casey Kelsey. What's her name?
Kylie Kelsey.
Kylie Kelsey.
She's the wife of the other one.
Jason Kelsey's wife.
Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Kylie Kelsey and her podcast, Not Gonna Lie. The trailer alone set records, and after 1 week, it debuted last Thursday, she has dethroned Joe Rogan as the most downloaded, listened to podcast. Now, these numbers are real hazy and fuzzy.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
You want to find out who is listening to these things? Well, it's this big conversation because it gets into downloads versus actual listeners. It gets into people.
Well, that's why no one advertises on these things. And I'll tell you this, is that when they first invented the video camera, did you go to your every dumbass's house and go watch some movie they put together?
No, why would you?
Exactly. So it's the same thing with just because they make microphones that you can put in your house and you can put it into the ether. You're not doing yourself or anyone else any favors. The more of these that come out, the worse it is for everyone else that's got one.
So why does Kylie Kelsey have a podcast? Well, if you want to learn about it, despite her best efforts to remain on the sidelines, see, she's married to a former football player.
Yeah, the center.
Now more than ever, being part of football's favorite family means the world has found out about Kylie Kelsey. Now armed with 1 mic and 0 Fs, asterisk under the U.
Thank you.
Kylie is ready to open up on her own terms. Join Kylie each week on Not Gonna Lie. She shares her personal story beyond being just a football wife and setting the record straight on gossip and speaking her truth on topics like modern parenting, social media trends, women in sports, and more.
Okay. Well, I like Not Gonna Lie. Because
she's not going to lie.
That's a fun.
She's not going to lie, Fred. And she's
far, no spin zone.
No, she is the George Washington of football wives.
The reviews are just, I mean, everything from I love Kylie's take on real life. She gives it straight and is so down to earth. And then this person who said, great show, extremely humbling.
Yeah, because they realize what a piece of garbage. Thank you, Kylie.
I'm humbled by you.
I'm humbled. You made me feel like garbage.
So what is this? What does it sound like?
All right.
This is a big to-do about this. Let's hear it.
Not gonna lie, this week I had to officially switch to maternity jeans because the hair tie holding my pant button together was no longer cutting it. It's officially that stage of pregnancy. Well,
what a natural delivery, is that you can tell this is just someone chatting and not reading from a script. And also, what deprecation that she's pregnant and her belly grew.
Yeah.
I could understand why every idiot would be like, this is such. She's telling it as it is.
Now, the Kelsey brothers, they got like $100 million ready already for their podcast. I don't know what she's getting for this. Again, numbers not available, but she's still in some room with a lot of hard surfaces and echoes, and it sounds like crap. So we got that going for us.
Well, this
you got
is
a bad mic in a bad room. All right, check one, check two.
Yeah, this is like Stern in 97. Like, this is exactly the same vibe I'm getting. Like, you know.
We didn't even hear her intro music.
Well, that's annoying, too.
She's not going to lie.
All right, so here is what is the number one podcast. This is what everyone loves. This is the audio entertainment people are enjoying, and this is good.
Go ahead.
Now that that's out in the open, let's start this podcast.
Oh, my God. Oh, I hate her.
And by the way, this is from the YouTube channel, so it's dressed up. This has production elements. Listening to the actual podcast is insufferable.
So she's saying, I'm pregnant, which is a humble brag. I'm pregnant, so my belly got bigger. No kidding. That you're the one? And so now I have to wear different jeans.
Yeah.
Now that that's out of the way. Oh, how about this? I have a horrible yeast infection. It's a gross yeast infection, and it's crippling me right now. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. Or how about this? A guy gave me gonorrhea not once but twice in high school, and I wouldn't admit I had it, so things got disgusting down there. Now that that's out of the way, you're just saying you're pregnant, stupid.
So,
wow, you're pregnant, so your jeans got bigger. Wow, now that that's out of the way, now we know what this show's going to be.
Go ahead.
Welcome.
Okay, control the kids in the background.
To Not Gonna Lie, presented by Wave Sports and Entertainment and brought to you by Duncan. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm your host, Kylie Kelsey. I am a soon-to-be mom of 4. I am a former field hockey player turned high school field hockey coach. I have a husband that you might know about. He sort of, let's be real, dragged me into this mess. I swiped right and now we're here. I decided to do a podcast because at the end of the day, I tried to stay quiet and sort of do the Homer.
What? Just what?
Homer Simpson, roll back into the hedge. And no.
Oh, she's speaking in meme. You know, girls, that meme where Homer Simpson goes back into the hedge? You know that? She's obviously very well read. You might know my husband. He's dragging me into this. Like he went, hey, woman, get that mic and get in the worst room in the house and start echoing the hell out of this thing. We need some money here. Jesus Christ. And tell them about that stupid stomach of yours getting bigger with the kid in it.
Yeah, do it.
All right, let's break. And then when we come back, we will have Chris Forsberg in. Maybe we'll play a little more of this with Chris Forsberg. And then we'll do so much more with him as he's here. We will be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy. HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
Win for the Bruins in overtime over Calgary last night, 4-3. David Pastrnak scoring with 38 seconds left in the extra frame. Morgan Geekie and Mark McLaughlin scored twice in the third period as the Bruins erased a 2-goal deficit in the third en route to the win. Elias Lindholm also found the back of the net. Bees are in Edmonton tomorrow night. Celtics also play tomorrow night. They take on Chicago. NBA Cup action last night. Bulls, the Bucks won the championship. They beat Oklahoma City 97-81. Patriots will be back on the practice field today. They get ready for Buffalo on Sunday, a game that has been moved to 4:25. Also, Saturday the 28th game, 1 o'clock against the Chargers. The NFL officially announcing that yesterday. Kirk Cousins no longer the starting quarterback in Atlanta. Michael Penix Jr. will take over. The Cardinals have extended safety Budda Baker 3 years, $30 million guaranteed. Norfolk State University has hired Michael Vick as their new head football coach. And the Yankees yesterday traded for Cody Bellinger from the Chicago Cubs. Headlines are brought to you by Eastern Massachusetts leader in drain cleaning and pipelining, Drains by James. Slow drain, clog drain. You need to contact Drains by James today at drainsbyjames.com. I'm Matt McCarthy. I'm Boston's Home for Sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Get the app.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. Fred describes himself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
You are in a very funky mood today.
Yes, I'm feeling it. I got this is the one that James Brown at the end thanks you. James Brown thanks you for buying his records, coming to his shows.
Yeah, he was insane. We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment forward with FanDuel. We'll get back into the Kylie Kelsey podcast later because Chris Forsberg is here. But I will tell you this, is that it legitimately is bothering me. I don't like it. This is a podcast about how relatable I am. I'm going to start off with something really embarrassing. I'm pregnant, so my belly grew. Wow. So how if you're a woman, isn't that offensive to you? Like that is in some way admitting something that is in any way, shape, or form embarrassing?
That means nothing.
What if she said, I took such a dump yesterday and a hemorrhoid I pushed and a hemorrhoid just exploded. That's embarrassing. Not I got pregnant and my pant size grew. Yes, that's life. The circle of it. There's evidence of it all over the place. We all came out of one of those.
This is where we are now.
And I'm relatable. You might think I'm above you because I was married to a center in the NFL who, was fifth round pick in the NFL. He was making, $1.52 million for a very long period of time. You might think that I can't relate to you because we live in a nice suburb of Philadelphia. But here I am.
I'm not going to lie.
And as Hardy was saying off air, it's essentially like I'm a Rothschild or like a Sedgwick. I'm one of these very old school moneyed families. It's like Prince William. It's a whole thing. Ugh.
Do you have a podcast room in your house?
I do. I have a place where I can broadcast live from. There are podcasts that I like. I like the Rich Roll podcast. It's very esoteric and it's not something that would be like a mainstream huge success. I like it for what it is. That's the one I consume. I like the Chip Chipperson podcast was on, and I absolutely loved the Too Much Tuna podcast. I think that's the height of the form. But 2 of those, by the way, are fake characters, which shows you. But I wouldn't advertise in a million years on one of those things. There's no way the engagement in those is nearly what it is. And when everyone has something, it devalues for everyone that makes a podcast, it devalues it. And for this piece of not her, she's not a piece of garbage, I'm saying. She's annoying. But for this piece of garbage podcast to be in any way associated with the number one at anything, if you put that on the radio, it would last 5.5 months.
By the way, the Celtics Talk podcast, hosted by Chris Forsberg.
He's got to do that. There's no way Chris goes, this is going to be the #1 podcast in the world.
New episode 2 days ago.
My pants also growing.
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. You wore that vest again, didn't you?
I did. I wanted to. I didn't even need it today. It was just more of a flex.
Yeah.
I did not turn it on though. That seemed egregious. On a.
You're starting to do like you're starting to have a catchphrase around here. All right, listen. There's something I want to talk to you about that's not related to basketball. You and Hardy, I got to get into this.
Oh.
Chris Forsberg covers the Celtics, of course, for NBC Sports Boston, which is a real job. The podcast, I'm sure, is something that is a side gig.
No, you can be on it. It's part of my full gig.
I can be on it because NBC Sports wouldn't let me be on the Celtics broadcast during the season. Gorman and Scala.
Now, are you sure they'll let him on your podcast? Because they wouldn't let him on a game. But
Gorman and Scalabrini both asked if I could come on a game. They were being sincere. They wanted me on it, and the network said no.
I'll have to vet that. I have to climb the ladder.
Then they were both lying to me separately. And really,
what's
for
more
no
hurtful?
reason.
Mike Gorman has never
If
told
they were
a
both
lie.
lying to me.
Yeah.
No way, Gorman.
Kind of like Kylie Kelsey.
I'm legitimately friends with Gorman. Not like
actual friends.
Right.
Actual friends.
That's kind of rare.
Yes. He's got a government. He works. He does all the wildlife.
Like equals.
Hardy and I have watched too much Seinfeld. Talking Green with Chris Forsberg is presented by Bentley University. Where good.
I had my kids trained from an early age. Daddy, what's your favorite animal? Oh, I know, the leopard. Why? He likes the spots.
Where good business. Hello. Where good business begins and leaders come to learn. Chris joins us in studio. Poorly written script. Luckily, I'm not anchorman in it. Now, Chris. It's interesting. You asked Hardy, did you play yesterday? Because
yes.
you two.
We are friends.
Well, no, you two. I don't know if you guys are friends or not, but you two have an exceptional amount in common, and that's not a lie. They do. Did you know this, Matt? That the two of them have really they both love at-home projects.
Mm-hmm.
They both love golf. They're really leaning into this middle-age situation.
Yeah,
sounds like a podcast. You guys should start one.
Consumer grade, 24-volt tools.
Yes,
we're not flexing and walking around with Milwaukee.
No,
we don't need it.
So I didn't golf yesterday, but I did go to Home Depot.
Okay, but I do want to get it. I want to ask you something. If this is going to affect the relationship, or if you can relate. So you asked Artie if he played golf yesterday. He did not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He did though. Pick up a new hobby for the winter. Would you care to guess what it is? It's a sport, a winter sport. It goes along with his other interests.
Pickleball.
Yes.
I mean,
you can read his mind.
Yes, I've considered dabbling. The Celtics actually had a pickleball net at their facility yesterday, which suggests to me that because they've been doing all these warm-up games, so they play like wiffle ball or football. It's walking football, so no one gets injured, which is weird. They're athletes. But they had a pickleball net there yesterday, and I said I suspect that they are now pickleballing inside the Outback Center. So if you need a fancy place to pick, where did you?
I don't think Hardy needs to worry about fancy places. He's very fancy. I'm assuming the pickleball court is at your fancy place, Hardy?
There is a pickleball court at the place that my family joined early in 2024 that up until I went for my first pickleball clinic, I had set foot in twice. Once to tour it and once to I went to it. I don't tend to do things half-assed. Okay. So I bought pickleball shoes. I bought my very own paddle yesterday, even though there are paddles available for you to use when you go.
What are you going to just bowl with the balls? You're just going to see if your fingers can fit in these random balls?
I researched paddles, and then I went shopping for paddles yesterday, and I purchased my own paddle.
Did you get your name engraved in them?
No.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Do that myself with a wood-burning kit.
Right, because you've got the tools, yeah.
How has the initial foray into pickleball gone? Maybe you can open a door for me.
I enjoyed it very much. Here is the most distressing part. And, much like Kylie Kelsey.
I'm not going to lie.
I went for
Here we go.
a 1-hour beginner's clinic, right? Because the rules are actually way more than I thought they would be.
landing zones.
Zones, and you're always playing doubles because it is sweeping the nation, and everybody wants to play. You're not going to get a court just to go play singles.
Get my father on the air. He'll explain to you the popularity of the Tellico Village one.
But like the switching off of serves, it's not exactly like tennis. It's
it's nothing that you could read and figure out. Right. It's something that needs to be.
I prefer to learn by doing.
I
Visual
do too,
learner.
Yeah. But these are things that, like, if it was the play of the game, like while the ball was in play, things that you had to learn, like technique, that's much better. You're much better served getting a lesson. If it's just who serves when, that's something that could be just read in rules.
Now, better to do it while
do you
you're
have a Monopoly coach?
Yahtzee guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you read the rules.
Skip bow trainer.
Some of those games can get you.
Yeah.
I bet you there is a Monopoly teacher for kids, but go ahead.
This is the part that surprised me, because the reason why I'm doing it is I don't get any other exercise. During the summer, I play a lot of golf, and I walk a lot when I play. I carry my clubs, and that's decent exercise, 18 holes of that. So that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do something, and I can go walk 18 and carry my clubs, and I'm tired at the end, but I don't feel it the next day. 1 hour pickleball clinic, I was sore that night.
But it's new
and
muscles.
Sore the next
You're
day.
activating new muscles.
I guess. I didn't think so. It's not like playing tennis, though. It's like, well, I'll go play tennis with my son. Like, holy crap, that's a workout. You're covering a lot of ground. Pickleball court is small.
You're not moving.
How tough is this going to be? I felt it.
When was the last time you played basketball?
Oh, geez.
Years.
Okay, because
it's been years.
Because I can run 3 miles. I'm not fast, but I can run 3 miles, and it's not like that big a deal. This is my level of fitness. If I go out and play basketball, it might take me 40 seconds before I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
that sudden movement in like sprinting, that is something that is not done as adults very often.
Not a lot of movement away from the ball.
Yeah, well, then I got to stop because you got to play D. You got to play D. So offensively, you might put your hands on your hips, kind of hang out around the 3-point line.
Walk a lot, run a little.
Too many of my friends have come back with, I dove back into basketball and I blew out my Achilles immediately. So that's not something I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, for the first time in my life, because I've been very fortunate to avoid injury, I do have a rotator cuff situation in my right arm, but that was just going to happen from throwing so much. But my knees are starting. There are moments where I'll feel like a sharp pain in my knee.
Yeah, I had that. I had that on the pickleball court.
Can I tell you the one place I did play pickleball? And Fred, you'll love this. Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, you did.
I swear to God.
Yeah.
It was very hot outside, and that probably did not endear the sport to me.
And they also released the gas that made you think that you were enjoying yourself. So my country club has a pickleball facility. I have been to my country club twice in the year of 2024. You said you have not been into it until then. I have not laid eyes on the outside of the pickleball facility. I couldn't tell you where on the property it is. I couldn't tell you what it looks like.
What a waste.
Yes, it's a huge waste. It was a massive mistake. It was done right around COVID, where lots of mistakes in my life were made. And I joined, and it was a horrible error in judgment. I like some people there, but I am not very close to anyone. I don't enjoy golf that much.
How often do you go?
I went twice in 2024.
But so the only reason you would go is to golf.
My kids don't like the food there, and so I can't take my kids there, and I have my kids most nights. So
do you like the food there?
I think it's fine, yeah. Okay. But I'm not going to go there for lunch.
Fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it's not far, it's kind of halfway between here and home. I'm not going to, I just don't want to. You have to wear a collared shirt. It's not a big.
And you're supposed to tuck it in. But this one.
Yeah, I'm a real.
Johnny Rebel over here.
Well, I'm punk rock.
Won't tuck his shirt.
Yeah, I don't play by the rules to a degree. But in all seriousness, so if I wanted to go after work, I'd have to have a collared shirt on.
No.
And I'm not going to wear a collared shirt. I'm not going to get up in the morning and go, you know what? I want to go to Woodland after this and eat lunch.
Do you have a locker there?
I do.
Put 3 golf shirts in your locker at the beginning of the season.
Can you go in a hoodie and then go to the locker, or do you have to have the?
No, I mean, they're not going to go hey, get out of here. But
It's still the process of putting on the collared shirt.
Yeah, and then I got to go there and put in the 3 shirts. It makes sense what you're saying, but I don't. I'm not positive where my locker is. I've used it once. It's got a bunch of old clubs in there.
I kind of modified my locker a little bit. I got a couple of those like fabric cubbies that I put at the bottom so
Did you
I
make
could
them
store
yourself?
more stuff in there. No, I wish.
How did you measure though?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you went there with the
twice.
tape measure.
I measured the locker first.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then
Did you go into the country club with the tape measure?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you just said no, like I'm an a-hole, but you did. What did you think I was saying when I said, "Did you measure it"?
I thought you were going to ask me if I measured the cubbies first.
No, that wouldn't make. I'm not a complete moron, Hardy. I don't do home improvement projects, but I'm aware that you would measure the space and then buy based on your
You know what they
measurements.
say? Measure twice, cubby once.
You know who says that is Mr. Kraft. Mr. Kraft says that, and that is how he arrived at Gerard Mayo.
Mm-hmm.
And look at how that and kept Bill for so long. All right, look. There is basketball to be talked about, and the Celtics have been nothing if not active.
There's nothing going on in basketball.
They've been with this. When was the last time the Celtics played? In all seriousness,
Sunday, right? But 2 games in 11 days before leading into it's ridiculous.
Well, I like that you are good on the air because we don't have to talk about the Celtics. So it's good that you and Hardy have this relationship.
That's the biggest compliment I've ever gotten. Thank you.
Well, I meant it as one. All right, look. We'll be back. We will discuss the Celtics as much as we can. And also, I am interested by how Milwaukee, even if you didn't see the game, how Milwaukee did what they did yesterday, the way they did it. I'll explain. Yeah. We will do that for you in just a moment.
If your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you get healthy, you get a rest in, but you also get to practice. So you get to work on, the things that you want to get better at in the short term, and then balance the things that you want to get better at in the long term. And so, but it's also dangerous. Sometimes too much time off can hurt you a little bit. So we want to make sure we take advantage of it. Also make sure we're ready to play.
This is more annoying than anything else.
It's Elvez. You know Elvez.
Yeah, I do know Elvez. I didn't know this was Elvez.
Yeah.
But I do know who Elvez is.
Stay live. For those who don't know, he's the Mexican Elvis impersonator. He's been at it for like 30 years.
Yeah, but I don't think he's meant to be listened to in recordings. I think it's more. I don't think a lot of people listen to Elvez like in their cars. I think it's more of a live experience. But that's just my opinion. Be listening at the end of this segment for your chance to score a $50 gift card and a pair of tubing passes for Neshoba Valley Ski Area, skiing, tubing, dining, dancing, and celebrating by the fireplace at Boston's own winter playland, Neshoba Valley Ski Area in Westford. Get your gift cards for the holidays at skineshoba.com. All right, so last night was the end of that NBA Cup championship, and the Bucks won, and they beat the Thunder. Now, the Thunder obviously are a very good team. The Thunder are an electric team, but the final score of that game was 97-81. If you would have said going into that game Milwaukee was going to win that, score 97 points, you'd say, well, they're going to lose. And then if you said, well, they beat the Thunder actually by 16, you would say, how did that happen? Now, as someone who did not watch the game and is not overly familiar with any of these teams, I would like to see a team in the East be a little, at least a stumbling block for the Celtics in the playoffs. And, is the way Milwaukee won this tournament, the way they shut down the Thunder, does that speak something of their team? Like, was this just the Thunder were off? I know they didn't shoot well.
Yeah.
But are the Bucks like this capable defensive force, or was this just like kind of a team that was lucky one night and the other team was off?
Well, I thought last night, I thought the Thunder were a little tight. It sounds weird because it's just the Cup.
They're very young.
And that's the thing. I think they're young. They're still trying to kind of prove to the rest of the league that they are on a different level. They started missing a million shots in that third quarter, and it just kind of snowballed on them. And you kind of think about it, right? Like the Bucks had the motivation of they've been to the mountaintop, they've won, they want to prove they're still there. And so they had some motivation to look good. But, look, it comes down to they have Giannis. And as long as they have Giannis, they have a chance. And I'm still not sold that they can play defense anywhere near that level over the course of 7 games in a real series. But I do think this kind of gives them a little bit of life. They were pretty much out of it, it felt like, at the start of the year. And now, okay, hey, when Lillard's going, when Giannis is going, it looks pretty good. And Doc's playing a couple younger guys. Brook Lopez is serviceable out there, even if he isn't quite what he was, and Bobby Portis is playing. So there's little things that will make them a threat. I just wonder how high they can get in the East, right? I guess I start thinking, can they get into the top 4, and would you see the Celtics in a 1-4 second round type series? It's something you have to at least put on your radar.
How is Doc doing with that team right now? Because there were some questions. There was it was bumpy at the start.
It was, and look, it's hard taking over midstream, and then when it doesn't go well, you draw the brunt of the reason why it's not working. He can't make that roster any younger, so yeah. But he has leaned into playing some younger guys, which has helped. It's just defraying it a little bit. I thought without Middleton last night they'd be in a tough spot, but they figured it out. And I don't know what Middleton will give you. That's the thing. Even though you missed his scoring last night, defensively, teams go at him. Celtics chief among them. So it's just a balance for them right now. Doc's been there. He knows how this goes. He knows how to motivate them. I just want a 7-game series against the Celtics. That team's not playing that defense.
You watched the game last night?
You walked me right into this one.
You're watching the TNT
after I
match?
watched the TNT the match, and then I kicked it over.
Oh boy! How'd you know the match was on? What are you guys looking at that told you that was on?
Instagram.
No, my wife was complaining about it because they were trying to get her to sell it where she works. And she said people weren't interested. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is something I should be interested in. And I forgot it was on. And once I turned it on, oh, this isn't very good. And I ended up watching almost the whole thing.
So your wife had a very good complaint that she was trying to sell something that even you were unaware that was happening.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point, yeah.
I think this is like year 3 of me realizing midstream, like, oh, God, I got to turn this on. I had it recorded on the DVR. I'd seen something over the weekend. I was like, Tuesday at 6? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's like no different ones now. But I guess the game last night, the NBA Cup game, was a little chippy at the beginning. Like, those guys were going at each other.
Well, again, I think the Cup does elevate things a little bit, and people will give the Bucks some grief for the way they celebrated. Now, they didn't do the full champagne spray and everything, but they did. Like, Giannis was stomping around, and it felt like a big deal. And when you're not in it, you're like, look at those guys, fools.
Yeah.
But I actually, like, if it was the Celtics, people around here would have been psyched. People would have been like, yes, champion swagger. Like, I don't know. I don't give them any grief for what they did. I do like that Darvin Ham allegedly went to Doc and was like, hey, look, we won this with the Lakers last year. We're not celebrating. We're not going to do the beer spray. We're not going to do the locker room celebration. Hopefully, unlike the Lakers, they do not raise a banner. And if they, if you do that, then you're approaching it the right way. You can have your fun. You can puff out your chest that you won, but just reel it in when you need to.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the Lakers, and when I look at the NBA this year, I root very heavily against them. And the reason is not LeBron James, who I value his the work that he puts in and the idea that he has made himself this great, even though I think it speaks to the AAU system that he is as unintelligent as he is, but yet people let him give him free reign to make a fool of himself. I don't think that's good, and I'm being serious. I think it's kind of mean, but it is because of J.J. Redick.
Not a fan?
Is J.J. Redick playing a role of being a dick?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so he's really not a dick.
Right. I think, I mean, like from all the interactions.
Well, you're in the NBA. I mean, you know better than me.
I think every athlete has a little bit of that bravado, swag, or whatever you want to call it. But the way like the story's coming out of LA, it's almost like they want him to be some version of Joe Mazzulla, because like Mazzulla's like, oh, Mazzulla's so crazy. He's doing
But he's
this.
smart. But Mazzulla's also
100%
smart, and you can tell he's like kind of just having fun in his head. Like it's not like a cut up like funny thing, but like it took me like a couple years to like kind of get what he was doing.
Exactly.
Like he's not being a dick to Gary Washburn necessarily.
No, it's like it's a little bit like having fun,
right?
And he gives it to all of us when we ask stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Or if we go back to the well on the same topic, it's what Joe does. I don't begrudge him.
I just wonder if J.J. Redick got so much crap in college that he has kind of like leaned in and become almost like a wrestling character, but that's beside the point.
I think you have to carry yourself a certain way as a head coach, especially in a market like that. And I think he's trying to lean into maybe being something. I do think it's part of his personality. I don't know. I'd have to cover it on a day-to-day basis to know how much of a farce it is. But from afar, it does seem like he's trying really hard to, balance the, hey, I'm the young player guy versus like I'm your coach now.
If you have time to think about like what type of coach you're going to be, or if you have to think about it, then it's almost not going to go well. You're either born to be a coach, and that's just kind of what you do and you evolve into it, or it's somehow presented to you as an opportunity.
Or you're a Belichick coaching tree guy. Right? I know what you're saying. Like you're pretending to be something you're not. Like you're being. Mangini's the biggest one out of all of it. When he was the Jets coach, he wasn't even that bad a coach, but when he was the Jets coach, he acted like Belichick, and you're like, what are you doing? And then when he got into media, you were like, wait a second, that was all a facade. That was never going to work. Anyway, my question with the Lakers is, obviously because they have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, people care. They're not good. Is there a chance that they're really not good?
Yeah. Like, I mean, depth has been an issue for seasons now, and they've kind of tried to patch it together. And I don't know. It's like you really need both those guys to be healthy and be elite. And I don't know. It's just like I never thought it would catch up with LeBron, and I don't think it is. And I would never say in a playoff series I thought he was kind of coming back down to earth because he'll probably be great. But I don't know. There's just not enough margin for error, and I just think there's too many good teams out there. And one of the things I keep thinking, even this season with like across the league, is all these young teams are coming now, right? Like they're coming for you, and so you got Oklahoma City, who is just put them out there against the Lakers, and I just don't think the Lakers have a chance. I think the league has sort of started to pass by some of the older teams. And now maybe, hey, Milwaukee just showed last night. Sometimes you can dial it in, but there's a lot of young blood, and I don't know if the old guard is quite ready for
Doesn't that put the Celtics in a bit of a sweet spot, though, because you have these young teams who don't know how to win, and you were pointing out with Oklahoma City last night, maybe they were a little bit tight, granted, in the NBA Cup, final. Minnesota was supposed to be the next big thing. Obviously, they haven't been this year. Like, it takes a long time to actually get there, as we found out with the Celtics.
I keep saying that to people. It's easy to say, like, oh, the Celtics are so good and they're still so young, but like there's a learning process that goes into it. You have to get to a certain point, usually the Eastern Conference Final, and get smacked back down. Like, think of what Tatum's first year and dunking on LeBron, but getting stiff-armed at that final.
The entire 80s.
Yeah, right.
The Celtics
it was
to the
always
Pistons,
a baton
the
pass.
Pistons to the Bulls. Yeah, like it was a baton pass. Yeah, that's how it went. The Timberwolves, though, are better than they're playing, right? They're getting adjusted to a new roster.
Yeah, and I never loved that trade for them, but I understand it. And for both sides, I thought the Knicks and the Timberwolves would take some time, and so we'll see. It's a long season. Everyone kind of overreacts to the start, and we'll see where it evens out. But yeah, like I just think the West is really good, and I know it doesn't always look like that, and because and even you could say like, oh, if you think Oklahoma City is the best team in the West, and then they lose to what we think is the 4th, 5th seed in the East, like what does that say? It all levels out, and like I said, I think Oklahoma City, they've got to show they've learned from last season and take another step, but they're closer than any of those other sort of youngish teams. Like I think they're still a step ahead of Minnesota in being ready,
and they get Holmgren back. And then that will be a factor. All right, look. Everyone loves Chris Forsberg. I want you to have you celebrate the Christmas? I don't want to offend you.
No.
Merry Christmas.
Right back at you guys.
Happy
Regardless
New
of what
Year.
you celebrate. You guys celebrate Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Very much so.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. John does too, even though he grew up Jewish. He turned his back completely on his religion.
Yeah.
And Fred has Christmas decorations up in his bachelor pad. I mean, he is such a fan of Christmas that he has reindeer and Christmas
I have
trees.
2 children that spend an awful lot of time there. Would you still consider that it's a 3,600 square foot
You would
home?
put those things up even if it were just for you. You said you like Christmas.
I do like Christmas. I'm not sure I would put all those things up or have acquired them if it was not for my children.
Did you help him the way you helped him with his bed?
No.
Because you're that type of friend. You're that close.
My son put up the tree.
Fake tree, real tree?
Fake tree because we go to my parents' house for a long time. We go for 9 days. There's no way I could have a real tree.
It would be dead. Or let your house
It would
on
be
fire.
dead or let my house on fire. Like I legit can't have a real tree. If I was home for Christmas, I would, which eventually, unfortunately, unless I die soon, will be a reality in my life. Then I will get a real tree.
We did it first 40 years of my life, and then we finally broke down, and it's the best decision we ever made.
Fake tree.
It's
Best
just
way to go.
so much easier. Who wants to? I don't want to.
I don't want to do it, but I think isn't that part of the process? And then keeping something moist is always very exciting.
A lot of people have problems with that word.
Moist,
I've
yeah.
encountered several people in my life.
Is
that
it
don't
your
like the word.
wife?
No, she's not one to know. She just.
Is that another thing she seems to have a problem with that's rubbing off on you?
I just found out from another friend of mine the other day. Just said, put it out there, unprompted. I don't like the word moist.
It's a very common thing.
Yeah.
How can you not
people.
like a word that's not corny?
Doesn't make sense to me. But.
And I don't understand it. Like, what is the problem with moist?
Moist.
The sound of it, the
Moisture.
image it conjures. I don't know.
Is it if someone's from Long Island and they go like moist? Caller number 10 of the contest
You
line.
should do
6-1.
accents. You should do like voices.
Oh, I do, and I should do them on the air and really get it. Just name any Asian. Caller number 10 to the contest line, 617-931-0985. We'll get in. Let's just get into it. Let's dive into all the accents I can do. You really want me to start? We'll start at $50. I can do them. I assure you. We can score a $50 gift card.
Do a Mexican.
Yeah, right. $50 gift card from what area? $50 gift card in what's their profession? And a pair of tubing passes for Neshoba Valley Ski Area.
Tijuana.
Skiing,
Entertainer.
Tubing, Pharmacia. Skiing, tubing, dining, dancing, and celebrating by the fireplace at Boston's own Winter Playland. Neshoba Valley Ski Area in Westford. Get your gift cards for the holidays at skineshoba.com. Listen, Chris Forsberg, thank you so much for all your help in 2024 as we bring this son of a bitch into 2025 and another championship for
There
ourselves.
we go.
All right, thank you so much. When we get back to it, Again, the #1 podcast. Let's listen to it together.
Yes, Fred.
Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Dutcher or is that Target?
Kinda looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
And I want to start this over. All right, so podcasts are what they are. They're it's the future. Everyone's going to love podcasts. There's nothing that can go wrong. And so you go, what's going on? Maybe I just don't get it. It's so innovative that it is on your phone, unlike everything else. What's the number one podcast? Well, we have explored Joe Rogan before, but the number one podcast right now is a woman by name Kylie Kelsey.
That's right. Wife of Jason Kelsey and her podcast, Not Gonna Lie. The trailer blew up. Episode 1 was last week. Overtook Joe Rogan as the most downloaded, listened to, whatever, Apple and Spotify podcast platforms. So 45 minutes of Kylie just not lying.
I'm not going to lie.
She's not lying.
This is her. This is the best person at podcasting.
Not gonna lie, this week I had to officially switch to maternity jeans because the hair tie holding my pant button together was no longer cutting it. It's officially that stage of pregnancy. Well, now that that's out in the open, let's start this podcast.
So again, she's saying my stomach grew because I'm pregnant. Ladies, that's right. It's going to get real. Ugh.
Welcome to Not Gonna Lie, presented by Wave Sports and Entertainment and brought to you by Duncan.
And as opposed to everyone else who's just fibbing. Finally, someone who was married to an NFL center is coming out.
I'm not gonna lie.
Where's Jeff Saturday's wife? That's who I need to know. Or what about Lonnie Paxton, a long snapper? I'd be interested to hear his if he's married, his wife's musings.
That'd be good.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm your host, Kylie Kelsey.
I can't believe it either. I can't believe I'm listening to this because you're the number one at it.
I am a soon-to-be mom of 4. I am a former field hockey player turned high school field hockey coach. I have a husband that you might know about. He sort of, let's be real, dragged me into this mess.
Okay, all of that's boring. None of that is at all interesting. You have 4 kids. That just means, you probably have stretch marks.
But Fred, the lies and the gossip and all these people talking about her family, she said that's enough already.
Well, no, they're not talking about you at all. They're talking about
They've been talking
the most famous woman in the world who's married to your douche brother-in-law.
But they're like collateral damage in all this, and she's here to set the record straight. Would you let her set the record straight, please?
I swiped right, and now we're here. I decided to do a podcast because...
And obviously not in her native language. There's a lot of struggling for the right word.
I decided to do a podcast
I can relate.
because I had this atrium in our home, which is full of glass and metal frames.
Yeah,
and I thought it would sound good in here.
We decided this is like anti-podcast. We decided to do, it's almost like an Albini-produced album. We're almost deliberately making it basic.
At the end of the day, I tried to stay quiet and sort of do the Homer Simpson roll back into the hedge, and no one was allowing it. There were still articles and people talking about our family. So here's the deal. If you're going to talk about our family, you're going to talk about me, you might as well hear it from me. I ran this idea past Jason, my parents, my friends, and everyone just sort of said, yeah, do it.
That's awesome.
I'm thinking about doing a podcast.
Guys, everyone huddle up. I'm thinking about, get this, I'm just going to effing do it. And you know what? It's going to be real. I'm going to talk about how my belly grew when I was pregnant.
Yeah, do it.
And I tell you this, is that I can't even wake up in the morning without getting an alert about Kylie Kelsey. But I am on the Reddit page, Center's Wives.
I do think it's kind of funny. We sit here and talk about athletes every day. We talk about sports. We talk about all the stories, just fringe and sports adjacent. Have we ever once mentioned Kylie Kelsey?
No. I did not know who she was.
Family? I didn't know.
I did not know who she was. In fact, I didn't know who Jason Kelsey was until the episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Charlie, where the gang goes to the Super Bowl and Charlie's left at the bar and Jason Kelsey comes to him in a dream. I don't mind Jason Kelsey. This isn't even an indictment of Kylie Kelsey. Sure, she sucks at this. This is terrible. But this is number one podcast. This is now what is entertainment. This is people by the millions are choosing this. Out of all the things that could go into their brain, this is what they're choosing.
In the world full of posers, I love how honest and real she is, and she's not a princess, but she feels like she's the people's princess, trying to help and do good and cut through a lot of the baloney.
What did she say? Diana.
This is a podcast review. She always makes me laugh, and I just appreciate her realness. She's also a very loving mom, and I would definitely love to have her as a best friend.
Oh, that's sad. That's really sad. What if she said like I'm in that stage of pregnancy where I have horrible diarrhea, then you'd be like, okay, it's gross.
I'm not gonna lie,
but just I'm wearing bigger pants because of the account of the baby in my belly.
just stick with me.
No, and no one will. I mean, this is but I do like that this happened because it proves my point.
So I couldn't find someone that would discourage me, which I was really hoping for that. But because of the positive feedback, this is where we are now. So we're going to be figuring this out together as we go. I am by no means a professional at podcasting. And yes, I have a degree in communication, but that means nothing.
Oh, the deprecation.
Because when I push my kids out, I push my brain out with them.
That's fun.
I am going to be doing my best to just overall be honest.
Who got through this thing? It's not even that it's boring so much. It's just like, get the effing words out. Fred, you struggle too. Not like this. All she's got to say is like, hey, yeah, I'm doing a podcast. I didn't know if I wanted to do it. This is weird, but I'm just going to go off the top of my head. There, I did it.
Just overall be honest. That's the whole premise of the show. I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to start with honest thoughts on trending stories and parenting, social media, sports, entertainment.
So she's going to open up Yahoo and open up the, TMZ and talk off the top of her head about the stories because she married a center in the NFL. Very good. I've never entertained the live audience. I have but this is what everyone wants, is my opinion, because I let a center in the NFL whose brother became very famous inside of me.
At least that's what my producers say. And then also,
a producer, fire him immediately. Is the producer a human or is it four-legged?
The same person who produces Let's Go, it sounds like.
Let's go, everybody. Well, that's the Jim Gray Enterprises.
At least that's what my producers say. And then also each week, I'm going to get to talk to an incredible guest. People that I have absolutely no business talking to.
Yeah, like the guard from the Indianapolis Colts' wife. The left guard from the Indianapolis Colts. I will talk
Quentin Nelson.
Quentin Nelson, that's right.
Hey, Quentin.
What's up, man?
We talked to Quentin Nelson's 8th grade math teacher.
Like aggressively no business talking to. And as always, just stick with me. If you've watched another podcast that I know the hosts of, they got better with time too. So I would really appreciate some patience, please.
Well, that's terrible. Objectively terrible.
Show her some patience.
Yeah. That's what you get in communications. If you have a radio show, you can just go, give me some patience.
Yes, I have a degree in communication.
So you didn't try in college. Very good. You took the easy way out.
So you had no clue what you wanted to do.
Yeah,
So
there's not one person with a communications degree, and believe me, I have. Maybe, do you have a communications degree?
It is from the communications college.
Yeah, there's no one that goes like, how about this communications degree? I believe on my degree it has that I have a minor in communications, and I never took a communications class. They just threw it in there.
Yeah, I think. Well, my degree's in journalism, but I think my minor was sociology.
No, you weren't trying. Sociology is pretty easy.
I did not try.
I was a history major. I went to a liberal arts college, and I don't even remember what my senior thesis was on.
This is where we are now.
Oh, Everyone's got to stop making podcasts. Again, when they invented the video camera, you weren't forced to watch everyone's stupid old movies. They were kept in the home. Enough with this stuff. Enough.
That means nothing.
That music is like music to have a seizure by, too. There's like someone out there is convulsing because of this.
I am by no means a professional.
Yes, you are not. And that's the point. And you know what? There's probably someone who's like insanely talented who's doing this that no one knows, and now they'll never be heard. Because the center's wife had
No one was allowing it.
I'm going to be honest. Everyone else is full of lies. I am the honest one. What a ego.
I'm not going to lie.
I thought you were modest. You know how this is going to start? I'm going to say that I'm wearing maternity pants because I'm pregnant.
Yeah, do it.
No one's going to believe it. How about this? Like, my nipple fell off because I'm lactating so much.
Yeah, do it.
Something like actually embarrassing, not like my belly grew on the account of the person inside of it.
And
you could do that to me.
So just stick with me.
What if she said, you know what? I'm pregnant, and guess what? We flipped the coin. I'm keeping this one. That would have been interesting.
I wish a couple times ago we had the coin had landed on the other side, because that kid over there.
That means nothing.
All right, very
that
good.
one I don't care for.
There you go. So maybe every now and again we find a popular podcast. I don't want to punch down. I want to find these popular podcasts, and I want to hear them and hear what's doing, because they suck. Objectively suck. And I have nothing against this woman. God bless her. But she wants to have the #1 podcast. It's up for you. Now you're allowed to talk about her. I don't know anything about her life. And she's keeping it so real. I know she's pregnant.
Well, you know, her brother-in-law.
Let me hear you say,
I don't like Travis Kelce. That's true. Jason Kelce doesn't bother me. But you got to get that wife in line and get her to stop talking. All right, we'll be back in just a moment with Billy Joe.
Let me hear you say,
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Next with Billy Jaffe. Bucks won the NBA Cup last night. They beat Oklahoma City 97-81. Celtics off until tomorrow night when they play Chicago. Patriots will be back on the practice field today as they get ready for Buffalo on Sunday. The Chargers game the week after, scheduled now for Saturday the 28th at 1 p.m. Michael Penix Jr. named the new starting quarterback in Atlanta, replacing Kirk Cousins. Yankees trading for Cody Bellinger yesterday from the Cubs. Headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Up. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Boston plays here.
Pressure, half court, it's in the air. He got it! He did it again!
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Todger and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
McAvoy hands to Pasternak, cutting in across the Calgary line. Right circle, score! David Pasternak, with 38 seconds to go in overtime, wins it for the Bruins, a come-from-behind victory.
Adam is trying very hard this morning. He has cultivated a very, very old playlist of.
Well, I've got to front load this stuff because tomorrow is Skanksmas, all ska tomorrow morning in celebration of Fred's final day on the air this year.
I unapologetically like ska.
I was gonna say you were smiling, and then when Hardy gave the reaction he did, it made you smile even more.
Oh yeah, if it annoys someone and I don't feel it should, then it makes me like it even more. On the air, in real life, I attempt not to annoy.
Ska holiday music tomorrow?
Yeah, it's not hard to find if you can imagine. There
I got 'em
are
all
a few
set.
novelty songs in the genre.
I'll put it on the website later on today too, so people can enjoy it.
It's the one. It's the
Define
one thing,
enjoy, Adam. Define enjoy.
Well, I think there's some people that enjoy. Well, listen, to be honest, the feedback about us 86ing Skanksgiving was overwhelmingly negative.
It
so
is interesting that people do have this sense of. It's hard to accept, and I appreciate it, but it is hard to accept that there is a certain nostalgia around the program. Now, it's hard to accept because I don't feel that old. But, I mean, again, I was at a BC game, and there was a guy with an appropriate age for having a toddler, and he was holding a toddler, and he's like, I was a big fan of yours in high school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. And now you're well into a marriage with a kid, and you're, into your career in life.
You were young enough to be considered young for a country club to want you to play there, to become a member.
Not anymore.
Hasn't played.
Well, yeah.
I know you don't play. I heard all that.
Yeah, that really bothered Billy because he got into this theory that I have all this money that I'm wasting.
Yeah, and you are. Yeah.
It's not a theory.
No, it's reality.
But then I explained to him that actually by not going, I'm technically saving money. I'm technically saving money by not going because I'm not spending any money there.
Rationalization is one
It's
of the
not a
great-
rationalization, but it is. If you're talking about expending money by not going, I'm not expending money. I should not have joined. You're absolutely correct in that. I thought I was going to enjoy golf.
You should
more
have
than I
joined.
do.
You should have. We should just go out and play there more.
I'll take you whenever you want to go. I think that's an empty. I don't think that you want to play golf with me very often.
He says that all the time. He invited me once. We played 7 holes.
What happened?
I don't know. I don't remember actually. But
No, we played more than 7
we didn't. It was like 7 or 8 holes. That was it.
Then it must have been so.
I gotta
many
go. I gotta get out of here. I don't like this. I don't want to go. I don't want to be here.
That didn't. I played golf with you more than once. We definitely
That's
played
not
18
true.
once.
It was once. Once.
Oh, I don't know. I must have been pretty drunk. Billy Jaffe is a Bruins analyst, and was it just you and I?
Yeah,
No way.
It was. It was.
No way.
Thank you for remembering.
I brought Billy out to play once with a couple buddies of mine, and Billy hadn't played in like a year, and we're trying to get a match going, and Billy's like, I'm like a 10. Like, okay. Billy hits 3-wood off the tee and then hits 3-wood for his second shot, moves that big ass through his second shot. He's home and 2 on the first par
That
5.
was after the first tip.
Yeah, and those guys were like pissed at me because we had like a money match going. They're like, you said he was a 10. I'm like, he hasn't played.
You're
I
not a
barely
10?
know the guy.
You're under a 10? No way.
No, I don't play anymore. I'm probably 12, 11.
Just because he can hit the ball far
He
doesn't
hits
mean he's
the
under a 10.
But my point is the first 2 shots he hit in a match were not that of
They
a
were
10
good.
handicap.
That was the classic example of no bad habits. Just go out and play.
Yeah. See, I thought by saying 10 you were being conservative. I thought you were actually undershooting what your handicap would be. If you were being honest and keeping a strict handicap, there's no way it would be 10.
I'm always honest with golf, but
I think you were being honest to a fault. Like if you were betting, I think you were not giving as many strokes as you or getting as many strokes as you could have. Anthony, go ahead. I wasn't saying you were sandbagging. Go ahead.
You've been invading my headspace for the last 2 or 3 weeks. You are reminding me of Robert Duvall in Kicking and Screaming, with the fact that you are willing to bring another Freddie T into the world, possibly.
Yeah, that was a question that was posed to me. Was in what it said? Would you it was basically under
Listen, I'm all for it, leaving your options open with the hypothetical. You're playing to your strength, so to speak.
Right. I'm not gonna what if there's this incredibly brilliant, incredibly beautiful woman that really wants kids.
I said, Fred, I've pondered this quite a bit. I'm on. I get it.
Right. I'm not gonna if there's this. If I'm feeling this tremendous, undescribable spiritual connection and love with someone, and they desperately want a child, and it's the only way that they can, that this is a dream of theirs.
Why not you?
Seriously, if I lucked into a situation like that, who can say?
I'll tell you why.
Then we got Milo with the brother nephew
he would
situation.
Love it. Would he love it? My daughter would hate it, but Milo would.
Soccer games.
Milo would love it. Oh, would Milo love it? But Zoe would not.
Could you imagine right now, at the age you are now, much less projecting 5-10 years in the future, having to go home after this show and take care of an infant?
Here's the thing, though.
Tony Randall.
What? Here's the thing: is that if I happened to fall in incredible love with, which would be I would be very fortunate, but maybe I've never felt before, and it was a woman who was say, at an age where she wanted kids, and it was if I want to spend my life with you, but I would feel like I've lived an unfulfilled life if I didn't have children. Then what am I going to say? I'm going to leave someone that I have that connection with?
No, she would leave you.
Would you have to have the reverse procedure?
No, I won't get a vasectomy. I think that you're all fools for getting them. Oh. First of all, you have no hip game. I don't even need a vasectomy. I've never gotten someone pregnant by accident.
Yeah, but you have all kinds of issues down there.
Or incredible strengths, and it ain't naturally given to me. Believe me, no one's impressed when they see me. But I'm not having a kid by accident.
No, because you can barely get aroused.
That's not the case at all. The case is that
only if his socks are on. Come on,
I can control when the situation ends on my end. Generally, Billy Jaffe is a Bruins analyst for Nesson. I'm 49.
He sounds like a high school kid in health class.
He brought it up. I said I don't need a vasectomy. What do you want me to lie?
No.
I don't need a vasectomy. It's not an issue. I can handle myself.
I just want you to play the baby tape to the end. A crying baby. There's a baby at home. You want to go home and take a nap, and you can't because of the baby.
If it's a result of this incredible love that is going to make my life for the rest of my life, this extreme joyous thing, then yes, I would absolutely have a child.
It's going to be the country club. It's going to be the country club all over again.
You're actually going to use the
3
country
years
club.
into it, and you're going to say, "Oh, it was a mistake."
No, he's actually going to use the country
my
club.
Kids are my time with I would rather spend time with my kids than do anything else. I spend a phenomenal amount of time with them. In fact, I'm actually not against having another kid at all. To have other kids in my life and relive the experience I've been having. Yes, I would like to do that.
The man
How about
just wants
that?
joy. It would bring him joy in his life to have a young child that he would be responsible for.
When I think about it,
I
like my kids every year they get older. I like them more, which I didn't think was possible. So yeah, I would do that again. Billy Jaffe.
I got no use
He's
for
in
babies.
studio this morning. Yeah, that's because you are cynical and you've just given up on love.
What if you ended up with a woman who wanted to adopt? We're
Well, then
adopted.
why? But then I would question why, because, like, I got kids and she would be part of the family. So, like, why would we have to adopt?
Well,
That's
she
how I got
can't-
kids.
She wants a younger child.
Yes.
She wants the,
Well, then
that
that
the love and the nurturing.
Well,
of
then I don't know if I would be in. Then I would have more of a logical argument against it, because I'd
She
be like,
wants to have a child to raise as her own.
But I would say, like, my kids are you're part of a family.
But
like,
they're
my
already
kids.
raised.
You could say that to someone who wanted to have a baby.
No, but that would be they wanted to experience the process of having a child. So, like, adopting a family is bringing a family into yours.
But this
I
imaginary
would be
woman
doing
can't,
that.
Fred, and you love her. You're in this tremendous love.
I just said, though, but she would be ostensibly a parent of one of the parents of my children.
Of an older child,
Yeah,
and
but
you
the,
just
but
said
the older,
not the
it's not
same.
the same.
I didn't just say anything. I said if they wanted to give birth, if they wanted to feel the sensation, maybe I would adopt. Who knows? Who knows?
Interesting.
Lord knows I got the money.
What are you wasting?
At Fred Toucher. DM me. Here I just talked about Kylie Kelsey. I'm sure you're lining up. All right. Listen, Billy Jaffe. None of
out
us,
of time.
No one. Yeah, we're out of time. No one watched the Bruins game to fruition last night.
Well, no one in this room. It was too late. Too late of a start. Why are they going to do that?
It's called Mountain Time.
Well, why did they start earlier out there? And plus, they're so far north, it's dark at noon. They could start those games at 4
Well, you missed
p.m.
a good
locally.
game. You missed a great comeback and a fun ending, obviously, if you're a Bruins fan. But down 3-1, 2-0, and then 3-1. By the way, the Bruins actually they did not play well in the first, unlike the Vancouver game.
See, I thought Fred and I were arguing about that this morning. I thought there were elements of the game, at least defensively, where they looked better.
I thought they looked terrible in
the first.
period.
I thought they looked.
Listless.
They looked. Yeah, good word. They were listless. They couldn't get even Elias Lindholm, who ended up being the number one star of the game. Former
was
Calgary.
pressing.
He was like that was brutal. I mean, he was awesome during the first intermission interview, and he just said that was awful. Can't get much worse. And they got better. The problem is they had an unbelievable start to the second, like a great shift for 40-something seconds. But the problem is at 55 seconds, Calgary ends up scoring the first goal.
And then a minute later,
And then
scored another one.
yeah, then they score. So they're up 2-0. But the Bruins, to their credit, Joe Sacco called the timeout. He was very controlled. Just let the guys know that they needed to do certain things better. They reset. They got after it, and then they started taking it to Calgary to the point of complete control. They scored the 2 goals. They score 1 goal. The goal at the end of the second was a buzzkill because you're thinking, and it was a fluke goal, but it happens, and you think, oh, man, all of a sudden you're like 3-1, but didn't stop. Third period, Morgan Geekie and Mark McLaughlin with goals, and then Pasta in overtime.
How is Swayman looking to you?
Good. None like last night. None is an issue for him.
But
none.
But,
Good. Better.
At the beginning of the season, he was bad, and then he had the 8-goal game. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
he's had a couple of balloon games where he's given up a lot. I think in totality, if you look at, it's not that you can disregard or discount or whatever the term is, take away those 3 big games, because you can't. That's part of the whole body of work. But if you look at incrementally, I think he's getting better. I think the eye test is better. The rebound control is good. The positioning's good. Is it where it needs to be? No, the whole team is still kind of fits and starts here and there. But what are they, 6-2 now in their last 8 or something like that? If you look at it,
sounds right. Well, so 2-2 so far on this road trip, and they wrap up tomorrow night in Edmonton.
Going to be a tough one. Yeah. Edmonton is really playing well, although they did lose their last game to Florida 2 nights ago. It was a crazy game, 6-5. Edmonton still has their unbelievableness. That's not a term, but McDavid and Draisaitl and Hyman scoring and all those guys, but they don't defend as well. They don't. Stuart Skinner, their goaltender, isn't as stout. He can let up some crazy goals. But the Bruins now with a great opportunity. We talked about find a way to go 3-2 going into this trip. That'd be great, right? You'll be okay with 2-1, but go 3-2. What a good road trip. When you're down 2-0 or 0-2 after getting absolutely throttled by Winnipeg and Seattle, you're like, holy smokes, like this doesn't feel good. It feels very different now because you put yourself in a chance. Now, they got one more. They're going to feel good about themselves going in. Their puck control once they got going with it, I mean, they dominated in the faceoff circle, but once they got going in their puck control game, using half wall, getting the puck below the goal line, and getting everybody involved, they dominated last night.
Yeah, it's like hip control, dominating the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, Billy.
So you guys aren't going to be here next week. I can't believe you're not going to be here.
You going to be here?
I might. I'm here. I'm in
Have you turned your back on your religion too? Are you celebrating? Do you celebrate Christmas?
Everything.
Okay, you celebrate everything.
Yeah, we're mixed.
So I'll say happy holidays.
Thank you. You can say whatever you want. And
I know I can, but deep down you are, and spiritually.
I'm happy with both. So next so today's what, the 18th or 17th? What is today?
18th.
Week from today is
Christmas.
Oh, I thought it was. Sorry, I thought it was.
You can come in.
Yeah, you should have.
No, I won't be. I'm going to be gone for.
You should come in. It's going to probably be a good show.
Where are you going?
Eastern Long Island, where Victoria's from.
All right.
We go see her family. It's great. Quick, the league shuts down for 3 days.
Yeah.
The 24th through 26th. Bruins have a game the 23rd and the 27th.
Is she from around where Hofstra is?
Much further east.
Oh,
okay.
Way out east, the Hamptons.
Okay. Oh, east. Because I was going to say.
We used to live right near Hofstra, which I heard you were a legend at.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just going to say, like, if you go to any of the merchants or anything around Hofstra, just drop my name.
I will.
Because there's a good chance I've mentored them.
Hi, I'm Isaac.
Hi, Isaac. Look out for this
Hey
kid,
there.
Isaac. You'll know him when you see him.
Say my name.
He exudes this vibration. His aura. He's got a very green aura.
Hi.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Isaac.
All right,
Hey there.
Billy. Have a great New Year. And anytime that you want to play golf, I'm serious. Why don't you text me and get me out there?
Oh, dude,
I'll play
let's not
18
get into
holes with
texting you. Sometimes I'll text you, and sometimes it takes like 24 hours to get a reply.
That's bad. In all seriousness.
Yeah, that's bad.
Okay, I'll be more efficient. On
Thank
it.
you.
That's my experience with other people. Is they never get right back to me, so I figured that's what people do. I'm trying to figure out what people do, and I'm just trying not to knock the boat. I'm not trying to upset the apple cart of my life.
What would a normal human person do in this situation? If you have to think about that, then
You're not wrong. That's exactly what goes through my head. What do normal people do? Because I don't want to seem too eager nor too aloof.
It must be exhausting being you, having to think about everything.
I'm learning. I'm growing. I wish the same could be said for you. You know?
Hey there.
Hi, Isaac. And now I'm sharing the wisdom. All right, very good. Thank you, Billy. We appreciate it. We'll be back with our wonderful email segment. Everyone loves it so much. We'll be right back.
Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and if you would like to email any of us, simply go to 985thesportshub.com, and you can do that. We do this segment on the show, and then Nick is hard at work.
Always.
Making videos over there for @Toucher and Hardy. Not so much on Twitter, but on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on Instagram @FredToucher, is Hardy @Hardy985. Matt McCarthy, are you on Instagram and Twitter?
I'm on Twitter @MattMcCarthy985.
You're not on Instagram.
I am, but I don't check it. So if you go there, you won't find me.
That's not wise. That's the one that's going to get you the eyes there, McCarthy. Here's one about you. From Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Or Chopper, he calls himself. Hard time doing McCarthy in front of McCarthy. Hi, Fred. Good morning. Are you having a hard time doing McCarthy in front of McCarthy? Seems that way. All good stuff. Thanks, Cooper. I'm not going to do the whole show doing him, but we did a segment at 7:20 where I said I will turn into the radio station, and you're the number one fill-in guy, right? You got to be. Yeah, you are.
It would be nice to think so.
Yeah. So I'd say you are. So Matt's on a lot, and so and I'll know because I'll turn it on, and regardless of time of year, it could be Super Bowl Sunday. I'll hear, and I was gonna come in here. I was ready not to say anything negative about these fellas with the socks that are amber. But you know what? Scaz came and dropped this bomb on me.
Max Fried.
Max Fried is gotten fried up and taken to New York on a rail.
And you know whose fault it is? John Henry.
John Henry, who's the real scoundrel. So
he is a scoundrel.
You really not like him? You think he's a bad owner?
I thought he was a great owner for 15 years, and then he stopped caring.
Do you think part of the reason he stopped caring, and this is just a theory, I don't know anything about him, is that when he bought the team, he said, look, there's this perceived curse. This is a great baseball market. If I win the World Series, I'll be forever loved in this town. And then he won 3 of them, and everyone craps on him. Do you think he just went, what's the point? 4. 4? 4. Oh, wow, 4. Yeah, 4. I do sports radio. 4 championships for the Red Sox. And don't you think that maybe he's just like, all right, what do you want out of me? Like what? Why would I even care anymore? Like, now it's a business. Because I would think that you would buy a team to be loved.
Kind of along those lines, Fred, you can win 4 championships and still get so much crap from people that you just kind of throw your hands up and say, well, what am I going to do? I'm gonna lose my mind trying to run this team and be an owner of a team to win another championship. So what? People are still going to give me so much grief. It's not worth it.
People crap on Robert Kraft on the air and stuff, but I contend if anyone in Boston, 99.99999% of people met Robert Kraft, they'd be like, oh, they wouldn't. I think if people saw John Henry, they'd be like, screw you. I really do.
I'm not gonna tell the details of the story, but there is one story that I love.
Well, you are the anti-Kylie Kelsey.
Just tell the truth,
because it kind of
not gonna lie,
it blows up the spot of a couple of people. But let's just say that Robert Kraft was out on a community outreach endeavor with a couple of Patriots players. All right, think of it as a ride along, so to speak. Okay, that's all I'll say. But these 2 Patriot players go to encounter some youth.
They go to an area that the police are prevalent in.
Right. And they're trying to talk to the youth about maybe the error of their perceived ways and how they can straighten things up. Man, shut up. Get out of here. Who are you? Robert Kraft then exits the vehicle.
Carrying what?
A beverage.
Allegedly a tumbler.
A beverage. And he says, hold on. I'll talk. And the kids lose their mind. Oh, Yeah. Now, here's the guy. Here's the guy who I'll listen to. Completely change their demeanor and attitude. Now, there's someone I like and respect. Now, is it just the money? Is it the way he carries himself? I don't know. But to your point, Fred, there's a guy that people like.
And there was a
They
time
just
where
like
there was like a perceived power, like you didn't want to anger the Crafts too much. I don't think that was ever. I don't know. Maybe the EI they have a thing with Henry, but like he carried a big stick. You know what I'm saying?
He's got like a godfather, like an approachable godfather sense about him that John Henry does not have.
And he was a fan and bought the team and, really seemed like, right. Like,
yeah, the outsider thing hurts Henry.
Yeah,
there's
it
no
definitely
doubt
does.
about it. And
But-
now he's acting like an outsider because he has other business. I mean, Robert Kraft has plenty of business interests too, but John Henry has business interests outside of Boston that are taking away, obviously, his time, attention, and money from the Red Sox.
Yeah, I don't know why you would want more than one professional sports franchise. I understand that they're
a good way to make money, Fred.
Yeah,
think about how.
Matt,
Fred, think about how many country club memberships you could have that you wouldn't use if you owned multiple sports teams.
Well, Kraft belongs to a country club that you wouldn't. I mean, he never goes, but he belongs to this one country club. You're like, why the hell do you belong there? But I'll tell you this: is that if you are a billionaire, you are never losing your money. There's nothing you can do. Just the way that the financial markets work, you are going to continue getting incredibly rich at an just exponential rate. This is never going to go away. So, sports teams investments, they're public investments where you're the public face of something that people care passionately about. There's much other better ways to make money where you're not up for ridicule. So if you buy the one team and you do it to be loved, you do it to do the gross spec, hopefully without dad making you sell the team after, but to be at the parade and be the center of attention. And, it's not a bad thing. It's to be loved, to drive on a duck boat in the city you grew up in or the city that you've adopted and have literally millions of people cheering your very presence because of what you've done for them. That's, to me, the point. Like, it's a community thing. Like, if you just wanted to make money, Blue Star people, Blue Horseshoe people, Wall Street their asses, just buy companies and tear them down. I mean, there's cutthroat ways to make money. Invest in any Kelsey doing a podcast. That's the way you make money, but that's my point. I don't know why you'd buy more than one.
No, I don't think Henry is that guy, though. I mean, this is a guy who made his money trading soybeans. Like, I really don't think he's in it to be loved.
I think he bought the Red Sox. I think he bought the Red Sox to be loved. I don't think he bought the Red Sox to make money.
Well, I mean, he bought the Red Sox because they were an undervalued asset. That's really been his history.
I understand that, but he bought the Red Sox in particular. He wanted the Red Sox. Like, he wanted that brand.
He wanted the storied franchise. He wanted the park. He wanted all of it.
Because he wanted to upgrade from the Marlins, and that's exactly what he did. But his history is buying undervalued franchises and making more on the margins.
But I think he would want to be loved. I do.
Not as much as some other owners. Not as much as Robert Kraft.
All right, you mentioned what's her name? Kelsey. I can't remember her name. Kylie Kelsey?
Yeah, Kylie.
You mentioned her. This is from Kevin. If Kylie wants to get a phenomenal guest for her #1 podcast, she should invite Matt Schaefer of the groundbreaking Sports Hub Grub podcast. Learn about things like tomatoes and cheese whiz.
Tomatoes.
That's right.
It's like that. If Kylie Kelsey had done a show on 98.5 The Sports Hub and that was the show,
Plymouth,
there would be panic in the streets. Oh no.
Let's talk about cheese.
I think I've made an error in judgment. Kylie, you have got me in a whole deep puddle of mud. And I'm not talking about my favorite band.
Wow.
That was cruel. I don't mean that.
Great email from Sarah from Everett.
Okay.
Where's she spying me at now? Spying at me at now.
No, it's just a request. And we look, it's only happened to me a couple of times, and it puts you on the spot, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but it is a voice request.
Mm-hmm.
Can Fred do Cold Cuts Matt McCarthy, please?
Oh.
And that was a mashup of voices. It was a mashup of Cold Cuts McCartney and Matt McCarthy.
Yeah.
Cold Cuts McCarthy.
Okay. You know, Boar's Head, more like boring bread. Did he call this a sandwich? I don't know.
You got to work some John Henry in there, something Red Sox related.
I did
Come
it. You don't even do puns. That's my own interpretation.
It's really tough. It's really tough.
I did it.
Matt wants to know if I have any advice on replacing his master bath toilet bowl and tanks. Research the videos online. Seems pretty easy. Have I ever done it? What pointers would you make? No, I've never done it. I would call my buddy Martin and say, Martin, we need this. Oh, that's real plumbing. I'm not doing that.
Wait, master bath toilet?
Yeah.
That's actually easy enough.
Wait,
Even
master
I've done
bath
that.
toilet?
So the seal is a
I
big
thought you
part of
said
it. You got to get
something
the
else.
seal right.
You
And
get
if you
the
get
seal-
you get the seal wrong, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Why
Get
would
that
there be a
wax
seal
ring?
in the
There you go.
No, you put the camera in the bowl.
So you just buy the entire apparatus and just pull
Yeah,
it
and then
out.
you install it in the bowl, and then you can watch from the comfort of your home.
You've done it.
My dad and I did 3 at the McCarthy household. I redid all the bathrooms,
Can
and
I
that's
see?
the only thing we did.
It's impressive.
It actually, you know what? It was impressive.
you do
I'm
with the
still
old
proud
bowl?
of it.
You didn't throw it away.
I need a pillow. I need someone to lay my weary head. McCarthy, by the way, he's got to get a whole AV situation in his house. It's gonna cost
HVAC?
him- yeah, HVAC. Going to cost like a country club membership. Making fun of me for the country club I don't use. This HVAC is more expensive than that country club.
$47,000, my friends.
Woo!
$47,000.
That's halfway to a private school education.
Alex says, I normally email you solely to remind you what a completely worthless piece of avian garbage John Wallach is.
Yeah, I read this. Yeah.
This
Maybe
time, I don't want to talk about how he completely ruined your show. Instead, I want to earnestly commend you on spending time rightfully demolishing that absolute piece of trash podcast of whoever that lady is. Absolutely unlistenable, zero useful info. Fake self-deprecation and pathetic pandering to lonely housewives. So,
I just
you're
wanna-
welcome, Alex. for
that
segment.
we started a bit that I thought was a good idea, but it was just finding bad podcasts and ripping on them, and I don't think that's the bit. Because it's not necessary. Like, who cares? Like, if you want to do a podcast, man, go ahead and do a podcast.
We
That's
did it with the
awesome.
311 guys, and they turned out to be really nice
Yeah,
and
like-
reached out to us. And
Right,
I'm
like if
oh,
you
man.
just as a hobby, like if people at Gary Shanley did like shortwave radio stuff. I mean, if you want to have a hobby where you like talk to a few people on the internet with a podcast, that's great. And I don't want to make fun of you. It's not necessary. You don't have to search for them. Find any popular podcast, and they're unmitigated disasters, unless they're like an NPR product that they put a lot of time in, or it's a brilliant comedic mind. Yes.
I remember you guys with the 311 podcast when they reached out to you, and did they say chill and like ask you to stop?
No, they didn't ask us to stop. They were actually really nice. Okay. And
so you're saying that they were chill.
Yeah, I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they were like the whole band. They got into meditation and they got so high they floated.
Sometimes you just get so high you feel so
chill. We the homebrew video, homebrew home video. Me and my friends used to get together with on a regular basis and watch, and it was. I don't know if I've. There's few things like the Jerky Boys' first album. It made me laugh so hard. They were so effing lame. We got ourselves some green. Oh, do you? Wow, how'd you find it? You found weed? Good for you,
Tough
fellas.
out in Nebraska.
Yeah, good. Well, yeah.
Actually, it may have not been that
Did you
easy.
buy them from the guy whose patois you're stealing, and it's very offensive to everyone but you? And they're nice guys, too, by the way. Peanut from 311 is a great guy, but I'll tell you, they suck. All right, look. Especially with that
I'm not gonna
patois.
lie.
I'm not. Well, listen. I'm no Kylie Kelsey. Boy, that sucked. It really is bugging me. The idea that she started it with, like, I'm going to be self-deprecating. I'm on my second pair of pants because I'm pregnant. Well, no kidding. You're pregnant. What the hell kind of... That's not self-deprecating at all. That's actually a humble brag.
That means nothing.
Yeah, you're all proud that you got 1 million kids. Good for you. All right, we'll be... I mean, I fathered a bunch of children out of wedlock. You don't hear me bragging about it. All right, so we'll be back with the stack.
Sports Hub headlines.
The Sports Hub Celtics show, by the way. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper.
The Sports Hub Celtics show with Murray and Gasper. Saturdays at noon on the Sports Hub. Fred, what's it like to work with Hardy and Waller?
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub. We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack.
Categorized as a stressful situation, bringing about your inability to function normally in daily life.
Or a panic attack.
Yeah.
Or anxiety.
Yeah.
There are people that there are people that don't have moments of that in their life. Not maybe panic attacks, but they don't have anxiety.
You're 4 out of the 6. You're on the verge. You're on the cusp. You're teetering.
Now, what defines a nervous breakdown?
An emotional breakdown. I think nervous breakdown is probably not acceptable phrasing anymore.
Well, I mean, Black Flag retired that phrase.
Yes. And they're brought on by the stress and the anxiety, and that it's not a medical condition. The name itself is not a medical term. It can be a sign that some mental issues need to be addressed and resolved. It's your mind and body telling you you've reached a limit. That's what's going on with you. We just figured that out.
Yep. So you have none of those things. None of that happens to you. You never get anxiety.
Regular heartbeat, yeah.
I don't get a regular heartbeat.
Tension headache, no.
I never get headaches.
A regular sleep, yes.
Yeah.
Upset stomach, yes. Inability to concentrate, yes. Anxiety, no. So yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you.
You never get anxiety?
Not really, no.
That's got to be.
Hey, what, me worry?
Now, do you get depressed?
No. I mean, so I don't like it when it's dark out at 4 o'clock at night. But
so you don't have any mental, nothing mental going on.
Oh, I have mental things going on, but I wouldn't count anxiety or depression among them. No.
He just has everyone, all the rest.
Some stress.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't play Nervous Breakdown by Black Flag after I made the Black Flag reference.
Well, what I was going to do is I was going to say, you know what else those are symptoms of? That's the direction I was going to take things.
What's he doing?
He's playing a novelty song.
Yeah.
He said Nervous Breakdown, which is kind of a cool song. Could have done that, but he didn't do it. It's not too late, Adam, to save it. You could get past that train wreck of a joke and play Nervous Breakdown and have some fun. Go ahead.
Senator Doug Mastriano tweeted out.
Tell me more about this lame duck.
Tweeted out a photo.
McCarthy's following politics now?
Yeah, I've turned my attention to D.C.
Some kind of a craft on the back of a open-air flatbed trailer, and it said, breaking news, crash drone in Orange Beach, retrieved from the water, taken to undisclosed location for further investigation. Senator Mastriano quote tweeted this and said, it's inconceivable that the federal government has no answers, take any action to get to the bottom of the unidentified drones, blah, 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 blah. Problem is, the photo is a prop from Star Wars. And maybe one of the clues should be it's being transported in an open air flatbed trailer and not covered up by so much as a tarp.
I have heard
much less inside an actual carrier under the cover of night.
I have heard why these drones have been in the air. Have you guys not?
No.
And it makes sense that they're in the air because anyone but Rollins, this band was good. When Rollins was in it, they were atrocious.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Henry Rollins wanted to fight Fat Mike because he had the audacity to tell the truth. The drones are up because as of right now, like drones, they're afraid of drones over large public gatherings. And right now, you can fly them, and that these are counter radio drones that the government would fly to break up. They're testing. They're not counter radio drones.
Okay.
They're testing equipment to break up the radio waves, so you would be able to have basically a shield around public events where you would not be able to effectively fly a drone. And they're experimenting by flying drones over these areas.
Makes sense to me.
Now that's what was explained to me. I have no idea if it's a reliable source. It just made sense.
I'm a nice man.
I am by no means a professional. That means nothing.
How many people are professional podcasters in that their profession is podcasting, and they feed and clothe and house themselves with podcasting money?
Ira Glass, the end.
Well, Joe Rogan, Ira Glass, the Smartless guys, but Joe Rogan and the Smartless guys had money.
Well, they had careers doing something else that made them other people want to listen to their podcast.
If you're Marin, you got to be so pissed, and I'll tell you why. Is that he invented that long-form confessional interview format, and it's almost like Bill Haley, who, like, say he invented rock and roll, and then all of a sudden, like, Elvis is running around. Like, Marin, saved his career and all that stuff, but Marin invented that format. And Anthony... Anthony Cumia, his project after Opie and Anthony is what inspired Rogan to do this. The Compound. Interesting.
All right, man. I got to let you go.
All right, buddy. Thanks. All right. That'll do it for us. Hi, Scott. Hi. How many more shows for you? Because you have footballs one. Same with me. Tomorrow's my last day, but you'll get McCarthy again. So that's enough reason to tune in.
Skanks miss tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. The first one, so you have fun with that. MU330 has a whole Christmas album, as does Fishbone.
I got a track pulled from both.
All right. We will be back